bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome and happy Thursday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news and hot topics and gossip. So if that is what you're into, definitely check this show out or stick around because we got a lot of tea to spill today, including we got to talk about the latest on this Michael Jackson biopic. Armas is calling for more original female action films after she did Ballerina. Jean-Claude Van Damme, yes, the muscles from Brussels, a blast from the 90s and, well, I would say more or less 90s past. He'd been accused of having relations with 5 Romanian women he knew were trafficked by the cartel. So we got to get into that. Plus, a former Bravo producer is calling out the network for a lot of behind the scenes abuse and says that he was fired because they found out that he was making content over on the OF. So we got to talk about that. Plus, Leah McSweeney, it looked like she got some good news going up against her Bravo lawsuit. So that reality reckoning might be coming, even though Bethany Frankel decided to ignite the flame or fan the flames, and then she just backed away. I don't know what happened with that, but get it back on this sis. Now, there's also more we got to speak on in regards to this Drake lawsuit regarding Kendrick Lamar and his contracts with Universal Music Group. We have the latest on that. Plus, Keke Palmer is facing backlash because she did an interview with Jonathan Majors. We got some news regarding the first quarter of The View and their ratings uptick. So all the incels, a lot of y'all that be all mad about The View because they anti-Trump, y'all about to stay mad because their ratings are going up, 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 up. And then we got to talk about Linkin Park and the embarrassment that's happening with their damn stadium tour. Kesha is about to go out on tour, and the people she got on this list, let me tell you, I definitely want to work this show. So we got to talk about that because she is coming to the Garden. So we got to talk about that. Plus, there's a rumored cast list for who's going to be on the upcoming season of Drag Race France All-Stars. Bob the Drag Queen, she could add another thing to her resume as a New York Times best-selling author. So we're going to get into that. Plus, we got some good news for the trans community. They getting dogged by this the current administration. But T.S. Madison, on the Trans Day of Visibility, she did a good thing for the trans community out in Atlanta. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, if any interesting news pops up throughout the show, any kind of breaking news, y'all already know what to do. Hit me up in the comments so that way I can bring it into the show and all this other stuff. There's not a lot really going on except the topics that I talk to y'all about. I was literally up till 4 a.m. putting those topics together because I did the Rangers game and the Rangers won yesterday. So, that was a big one for them because they have not been playing well this season. If y'all know, for those of you who watch hockey, y'all know. But in regards to that, I got in, was dealing with that. Plus, found out again, my mother had to be rushed back to the hospital because she had another damn heart attack. So I'm just like freaking out right now because I'm like, look, 2025, things are happening, but I don't want this to be a situation where I gotta lose a parent. So it's just a lot of craziness in my personal in regards to that. But I always feel like, when I do this show, I don't want to just come on and talk about everybody else's stuff. I'll tell you about my stuff too, because I want to come across like I'm an open book to an extent. So yeah, that's the latest that's going on right now. And and CinemaCon is going on, but it's not, there's a lot going on with that, but I haven't really been up on a lot of the CinemaCon stuff like I was with the previous because I haven't been watching a lot of the stuff that's been going on, reading a lot of the articles. I know a couple of things, but there's that. So if you can, before we get to our final, our upcoming topics, if you can hit that like button and that subscribe button, also smash the notification bell so that way, when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please and thank you. And also, I'll be adding timestamps throughout the show once the live stream is over, so that way you could just follow along with, fast forward to whatever topic tickles your fancy, instead of just listening to a lot of the live chat banter that a lot of the, the faithfuls, I'm taking that from the traders, the faithfuls that come and watch the show, they be up in the comments, but we kiki and stuff for about as long as I do this damn show until I get to the last topic, because ain't no time frame on when I'm going to be done with the show. But anyway, without further ado, let me hit my banner and let's get into our first topic. which is the latest on this Michael Jackson biopic. So the Universal had their panel because I believe, oh yeah, because it's like Lionsgate and Universal Pictures is behind, they're producing this Michael Jackson biopic. So Universal had their thing yesterday, and I heard there's like a lot of really good movies and stuff coming out. But one of the ones that a lot of people been interested in, okay, what's going on with Michael? Because Michael was supposed to be coming out in October of this year, but because of this thing that had happened, that they finished the movie apparently last year. Then I guess they realized that we made a mistake. So apparently in the third act mostly takes place in the courtroom with Michael and one of his molestation accusers. And what had happened was, I guess the estate didn't read the fine print, whereas this kid that Michael allegedly, well, he didn't allege, he may have alleged abused, but he did give, the kid got a payday. But part of the contract was you were not supposed to mention this case, post the verdict. And what had happened was, apparently, they wrote a whole third act that was supposed to wrap up the movie based around this case. So now they had a roll moment, and now they had to delay the film. They got to rewrite that whole third act, scrap the whole third act, which in a way I feel bad only for the actors that were a part of it, because it's like, damn, now your whole scene's got to get chopped. You're not even going to have your moment in this in this biopic. And it's unfortunate because somebody at the estate screwed up. And so now the word on the curb is they're looking at taking a more wicked approach and splitting the movie into two parts, which, sidebar, they showed I heard they showed the trailer for Wicked for Good, which I'm not really sold on that title. And I'm hearing like a lot of people saying that it was a really good trailer. This is what they were showing at CinemaCon. I think they showed it yesterday or something or another. But anyway, let's get into this. So it says that, will the Grand King production make its October 3rd release date? Most likely not, but realize there's a lot of sign-offs here, with Universal handling overseas and Japan sold separately. A key factor also for a concert-like movie of this stature is access to IMAX screens. King's Bohemian Rhapsody, because they had the director who was behind it, the Graham King. He was behind, Antoine Fuqua directed it, but Graham King also worked on Bohemian Rhapsody. He wrote the script for it. They said that what was about another controversial pop star in Queens, Freddie Mercury. I don't know what was so controversial about him besides the fact that he was a homosexual. Now, if y'all considering that being controversial, maybe y'all need to step into the times, because a man putting a peen in his mouth is not as controversial as y'all still out, you self-hating hoes is out here trying to make it to be. But nevertheless, they said that, yeah, when the movie actually did really well at the box office, Bohemian Rhapsody made 51 million stateside, and then 260 million was made in US and Canada, and 910.8 million was how much it made worldwide with 4 Oscar wins. And I still stand on this. The only reason why that movie made all that damn money is because y'all suppressed majority of his homosexualness and try to make it seem like, oh, he bisexual, but y'all made it seem like he was more into coochie than he was into men. So y'all had to dilute his whole personality and who he was. I mean, I'm not saying that being gay was all he was, but you would have barely known he was a homosexual if you had never heard of Queen and you would have watched it on the big screen for the first time. So it says, will the movie definitely go to 2026, like In Snyder, and that's Jeff Schneider, Jeff Snyder has this, paper called The In Snyder. So they're saying that, yeah, it might be pushed to 2026 instead of coming out this year. So this says, but nothing is definite or gospel yet. There's a slight chance Michael could still boogie down the road towards the end of this year for award season. That isn't out of the question. Yes, Lionsgate has Paul Feigg's stunning Sydney Sweeney Amanda Seyfried theater, The Housemaid, on Christmas Day. That movie wowed CinemaCon on Tuesday with its first trailer, but exhibition is always open to more films. By the way, by the time that when we need great movies, Lionsgate had a stunning presentation of Ballerina, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So we already talked about all of those. I'm looking forward to seeing it, and y'all already know. Here's the thing. Y'all know how I feel about biopics. I'm not really a fan of biopics because of how y'all dilute a lot of these people's personalities and stuff because y'all want to make it accessible, not only to please the estate, but you also want to make it accessible to these. And it's like, in so many ways, y'all are beholden to these shareholders rather than just giving us a really entertaining, complex movie about someone who was looked at as one of the greatest pop stars of all time. And I'm not just saying Michael Jackson. It could just be any biopic. That's why I love What's Love Got to Do with It. It was flaws and all. Like, we saw the type of man that Ike Turner was, but you also felt like, you know what, there was a reason why he was the way he was. And then you got the complexities of Tina. And then, so the biopics back in the day, I really feel like they weren't afraid to go there. These days, it's like y'all want to sugarcoat things. Although I did hear that the biopic about Robbie Williams is really good. I really need to get around to watching that because it's already on Paramount Plus. I still haven't gotten around to watching it. I'm still behind on a lot of movies, so I need to find the time to actually watch that biopic. If it comes at it across at a different angle, I watch it that way. I'm not always about watching some typical straightforward. Oh, they went through these situations. They they came out triumphant and blah blah blah. That's kind of boring to me. If y'all can come up with a whole interesting way and a good way to get me excited, then I'll watch it. But for those of you who don't know, Jafar Jackson, who is Jermaine Jackson's son, is playing Michael. Then we got Coleman Domingo playing Joe Jackson and Nia Long as Catherine Jackson. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they have what the hell's her name? Chloe Bailey is playing one of the Jackson sisters. Or is it Hallie? I don't know. Them two always get me confused. So yeah, and that's Jafar right there. And you saw him in the previous picture where he was all the way on the far left. And so, yeah, they said that Jackson infamously stood trial in 2005 with another claim of molestation and was acquitted of all charges. However, the public case also saw the near complete withdrawal of the King of Pop from the public sphere in the final 4 days of his life. And then what it is, the story, because I was wondering if that was his name. I had it in my head. The kid's name was Jordan Chandler, but I was like, I don't know if I want to say the name because I wasn't too sure. But now that I see it in the article, yes, the kid that accused him of dealing with his baby, his prepubescent body parts in the early 90s. His name was Jordan Chandler. And so in 1994, he paid the family $20 million with no admission of guilt, which I'm sorry, but I'm like, what y'all not going to do is out here and take advantage of me in this situation and make it seem like, because I never had a childhood. Like, I've been performing since I was 6 years old. And the reason why I love being around children and all other stuff because is that innocence. And I want to stay connected to that innocence as much as humanly possible, even though physically I'm not a child. But mentally, I like to put myself in that situation because I never got to have the childhood that I've always wanted. So when you got all the money in the world, you can recreate those moments in time or whatever that case is. I do feel like a lot of these parents they saw a payday, they coerce these kids to saying and doing all kinds of other stuff. And Michael didn't want to sit up in trial for years, bleeding money. He's like, okay, whatever. I'll just pay the 20 and keep it moving. And then you had all these other people coming out. Now we got this thing that's been banned in America, and now you can only watch it overseas with James Safechuck and Wade Robson. So you got all that situated. Now he wants us to believe that he was diddled with. I mean, you probably was. I don't know. But in my heart of hearts, I don't feel it. I just don't think that Michael Jackson would have been capable of such things. But, excuse me. But, yeah, so I feel like at this point, I'm going to kind of put this movie kind of like in a file and file it away. And then when we see a trailer, then I may come back to one to be like, okay, I'm interested in seeing this movie. But for now, I don't know. I'm going to put it on life support. I mean, I know it's coming because they spent a whole lot of money. They spent damn near $200 million on this movie. So they need to make that money back. But overall, I'll see it when it comes out. I don't know if I run. Well, you know what? If it ends up in IMAX, I will go see it. But I actually want to hear like the music and stuff booming, so I might actually go and switch and go to Dolby because Dolby got the reclining chairs and they got the surround sound. So I might go actually see it in Dolby just so I can feel, the music. So when you want to be starting something, the Billie Jean or one of them come on, I could just be in my chair going. that sort of thing. So I say this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you think that it would be a good idea for them to split this movie in two parts? I feel like it depends on if the movie is good. Like just for example, Wicked. I haven't seen the movie, but I know a lot of people have seen the movie and they love it. And now with the second part coming out, I already know a lot of people are going to be excited to see that film. But I don't know if it'll translate the same way for the Michael Jackson biopic. But you're going to have to leave us at a cliffhanger to a point where it's like, okay, we got to see this damn movie. But I don't know if you can keep people waiting for a whole damn year. Y'all going to have to figure out how y'all going to pace that and how you're going to release it. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. So let me close all those before I move on to what the peoples is saying. You said, any thoughts on the conversation being had with Gen Z and millennials on social media about age gaps and what is considered? I actually had this conversation on Instagram a while ago. In the same, because I commented on it, I still see the story pops up. Or people commenting on my comment or liking my comment. But there was a story that came out a while back about Chad Michael Murray getting with somebody that was young or whatever, but they weren't that far off in age. And I was like, it's weird because I feel like Gen Z looks at it like, okay, so if you're 22 and you dating somebody that's 28, they look at that as borderline pedophilia. And I'm like, what the hell are y'all talking about? Like, I can understand if you're like pushing 50 and you hunching somebody that's 22. I don't like that because I be feeling like you grown, you already lived your life, you know where you are in your life mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally at that point. That person who's 19, 20, 21, 22, even up to 25, or just the duration of their entire 20s, that's the time when you're supposed to just be making your mistakes. You need to get your body count up. You need to do all these other things so that way you can get all that out your system. You make your mistakes. So by the time you get to your 30s, it's like you still mess up a little bit. You still be a little insecure, but you're more self-aware. By the time you get to your 40s, you already know who you are. You know what you want. There's a little bit of insecurity there, but you still working on, I got my career on point. I got my family. I got this, that, and the other. Although it's kind of changing right now because the old constructs of when you were young and thinking that at this age, you got to be married. At this age, you got to have children. At this age, you got to have the career. At this age, you got to have the white picket fence and the 2 cars and the multitude of dogs and that whole white picket fence, June Cleaver lifestyle. This current administration wants to take people back to that illusion, but people weren't even happy in those damn days, quiet as it's kept. But my thing is, what is considered predatory? I feel like if you're close enough in age, that's not a problem. I don't get the ones that really be out here who are of a certain age, mature, in the age part, because there'd be some people that's 45, 50, 60 that's immature. So age don't make you mature. It depends on the person. But there's some kids that are like in their 20s and stuff that was wise beyond their years. I remember when I was growing up, I was wise beyond my years. There were moments where I did act like I knew every damn thing. And then I had to be told, it was like, no, you don't know everything. Like when you 20 or 22, you don't know a lot of what you're talking about. So I don't know. I just don't understand this whole idea of like what Gen Z is saying, that if you like 3 years apart or 4 years apart, that's predatory. I'm like, huh? No. That you're close to age. If you're like 3-4 year difference in age, how is that predatory? I just feel like these kids these days, y'all don't know what the hell y'all talking about. I hope I answered the question. Robert said, according to Reddit, people aren't into official biopics. They won't authorize because they would be afraid to show good or bad. But yeah, I think it's all about they want the music, they want other stuff. So yeah, and that's probably why I feel like that's what they're doing with the Michael Jackson biopic. Like they have to stroke the family's ego because it's like we don't want to be not be able to get the music. Sidebar, did y'all see that new trailer, the Megan 2.0? Can I tell you, I'm really looking forward to seeing this movie. And I love the way that they use the Oops, I Did It Again song. The trailer had me cracking up. I was like, this is giving me like Spy Kids meets Terminator 2. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Like, they're kind of going action comedy with it. And I know some people might get thrown. I'm like, no, If you really look at the first Megan, I know a lot of people try to call it a horror. It wasn't really a horror. It had moments of like the tonally it tried to play into those horror tropes or whatever for the most part. But if you really look at Megan, Megan was not a damn horror movie. That it was too campy. And you know the gays and the women will be up in that theater movie theater opening night watching it, and I probably might be one of them because I didn't go see Megan in the movies, but I might actually go to the movies and see Megan 2.0 because that trailer actually was a cackle. There was a lot of interesting trailers that came out. Five Nights at Freddy's 2, I'm not really sold on. I didn't particularly care for the first Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 looks okay. I might watch that the same way that I watched it, the first one on Peacock. So I'm not rushing it, although when I love me some Josh Hutcherson, but it's like, you know, I've always loved him ever since Zathura. But after that, I was like, I'm not interested. But and the Naked Gun trailer was hilarious too. Seeing Liam Neeson in the skirt and Sean under the skirt, I was like, okay, this is gonna be funny. And I repent. Well, and they said Pamela Anderson's in it, although she wasn't in the trailer. Disney paused live action Tangled after the underperformance of Snow White is due to Zachary Levi's politics. Is he in that? And people still messing with Zachary Levi. As a millennial, LeGrand Wolf is right. You want someone older because they understand sex and know what people want. He's always, well, when I was younger, I did seek out older men because that was like and especially when you come from an era of pre-internet, I didn't know much about homosexual sex and what I was doing and all this other stuff. So yeah, I would get with, and that was like in my days when I was bottoming because I didn't know what I was into. I didn't know what it was that I would wanted and all this other stuff. So I slept with quite a few older men just so that way I can get better versed at what to do in the bedroom and all the other stuff. So that was my reason for getting with a lot of older guys and then getting that mature, you know, that wisdom and all of that stuff. So could be that. Yeah, younger generation. Yeah, I think it could be that too. Is that younger generations are more aware about the power dynamics, so they look at it that way. But I just don't like the whole broad painting of, well, you're a PDF file if you get, or that's icky or that's gross. It's like, but if you judge your relationship when you get in that situation, I don't like when people generalize. But I also don't like the idea of grooming too. And he said, I was hoping you would make it a topic. My gen does overreact when it comes to adults over 21 being in relationships. When I'll bat an eye is when it's a fresh adult with a 35-year-old. Yeah, that's what I said. It's like, I feel like if you're 20 in your 20s, date somebody in your age bracket, unless, like I said before, you're into something that you want to be with a kid. Well, unless you're looking for that older wisdom and all that other stuff, and you just like seeking out older men because you want to kind of like understand. But I just hope that those older men that get in those situations are really like guiding and teaching and not taking advantage, because there'll be some out there that y'all do be taking advantage of these young men and putting them in situations where it's like they ended up with the high five, they ended up with STIs, they ended up on drugs, they ended up caught in thinking that this is the way that you're supposed to be when you're a homosexual. And don't get me wrong, I got caught up in that too when I was coming up in, you know, the club scene and stuff of New York. I thought that the gays had to be like what we saw in Queer as Folk. And I was partying just like them people on that show. And I'm glad I got that out of my system. I wasn't doing Tina and stuff. Although yesterday, like the New York City subways is so nasty. Yesterday, I saw this guy sitting on the floor. He was homeless, obviously, and you could clearly see he was a junkie. He was literally shooting up with a needle in his arm. Like I'm sitting there watching him as he's taking the needle. I don't even know if it was a clean needle or what, but he was taking the needle with the arm. His arm literally was dripping blood, and he's literally trying to find a vein to shoot up. And I'm like, Jesus. And then what was basically freaking me out is that as I was coming up the steps to exit the subway, because I was on my way to the gym before I went to work, I'm seeing like kids, it's like kids are getting out of school, they're going down into the subway. So this is stuff they gotta see. And then it's just like the cops just be around. They don't give a fuck. It's just like, I don't get it. Numbria says, I do feel like 40 dating a 21-year-old is a bit suspect. That's like with me, I would never date somebody that was 21. Now, if you want to get your back blown out, we could do that. But I'm not dating a 21. It's like sometimes people are just attracted to older. When I was on Grindr, I had 40-plus-year-olds hit me up and gays around my age. But me personally, I prefer date around my age range. And yeah, that's another thing too. I think that there are some people who are younger who seek out older men because it's like that's what they're attracted to. I remember when I was a young pup, I was interested in older men. And that's who I was basically sleeping with. And it could have been like a bunch of other reasons, like what I was saying regarding wanting to gather that wisdom and wanting to be around older people, because you always feel like that older people know best, they know more, they can navigate you through this world and all this other stuff, because you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what to expect when you're in the gay world, because we have the real world, which is our regular world, and we have the gay world where we go and hang out after we're doing the heteronormative stuff, and I'm meaning like grind through life, working, all that other stuff. And then when it's Friday and it's payday, and you will go, well, I would go to happy hour at Splash, and they would have the music, they have the DJ playing the music, and then you had the music videos and stuff playing. Because I remember they had Holla Back Girl on, and I remember I knew all the lyrics to that, and I was sitting there doing that and hung up. Like, I remember those were like the songs that were just like in heavy rotation. And Janet Jackson. Because I remember one time Janet Jackson performed at Splash, and I remember there was an issue with her because she came in the wrong shoes, and they was not going to let her in the club. Maybe they thought she was an impersonator or something, but it was like, yeah, she came in with the wrong shoes, and they was like, she ain't getting up in here. I was like, oh, y'all going to do Janet like that? I wasn't there, but I heard the story. Some people are better with older people. They tried dating their age, but intelligence and their mind made it to where their soulmate is someone older. Yeah, there's that too. But I was like, because, yeah, that was one of the reasons why I messed around with older men, because I just didn't feel like a lot of people my age was on that maturity level. Even one of my friends that, I remember when my first friend that was also a homosexual, we didn't say it, but we knew that we both was homosexuals. And this was like, I was 11. Wait, I think I was older than him. I was 12 and he was 11. And we was in like middle school and all this other stuff together. And then it was like the guy that he was messing with, Wilson, he was older, but he used to always tell us that the reason why he was with him was because he had money. But he dealt with all the other stuff, meaning him having a small peen and getting his back not blown out. But because Wilson had money and access and all this other stuff, that's why he stuck with him. I said, and then you wonder why your pussy bleeding, because he rubbing up, because the head is, is the dick so small that it's rubbing up against, the taint part of the inside of the hole, and is rupturing it, and you're not feeling nothing. So now you're getting rupturization and bleeding and all that other stuff. I know this is TMI, but that's what he told me. So now I'm telling y'all. So anyway, I hope that, look, I can cut that up and make that a whole damn segment. The way we was talking and having them things come up, and see if people want to chime in with their own, commentary. But anyway, let's move on. And let's talk about honor to Armas, who, has been on this promotional trail promoting Ballerina. Well, she was at CinemaCon doing it. I don't know when they're going to start the official promotion of the movie and all this other stuff, because the movie does come out in June and we're only in April. So she's got time to promote the movie. But she has been out and about with CinemaCon, because, that's where all the studios come and they do this convention in Vegas where they show like the theater owners, which used to be called NATO. Now I forgot the name of what they changed it to, because it's like the whole theater owners thing, not the other NATO, but NATO. They had like a theater owner type of name, so they had to change it. But anyway, so all the studios come and they've been showing all their movies and all this other stuff to get, I guess, people excited about, theatrical releases and all this stuff. So I guess they go out and they look at these films, but okay, we want to show these type of films in our movies. So they've been going heavy and showing a lot of trailers, and people have been up there doing their presentations, all that good stuff. So Ana de Armas is opening up about, well, she was in No Time to Die, and her cameo was pretty awesome up in there because she had to basically save him. Well, Daniel Craig during one of the scenes, she played like a Cuban spy, but she's basically been saying that what, even though she's about to headline her very own action movie with the Ballerina franchise, which is a part of the John Wick universe, she's saying that it's time that Hollywood starts greenlighting more action films with female leads. So this is from Variety, so shout out to them. Now, Ana de Armas says that there should be more films like her forthcoming bare knuckles action project Ballerina, rather than tinkering with gender-swapping legacy characters like James Bond. De Armas is on the ground at CinemaCon promoting her John Wick spinoff Lionsgate, where she caught up with Variety about discourse prompted this week by actor Dame. Well, they didn't put Dame in there, but she is a dame, Helen Mirren. The Dame and Scream legend recently told, well, they put it there, but you should have put Dame before Helen Mirren, chat. Now, they said the Dame and Scream legend recently told the UK's Guardian that she never liked the way women were in James Bond and that the concept around the $1 billion spy franchise is drenched and born out of profound sexism. De Armas made a triumphant debut in the 2021 Bond film No Time to Die, where her character Paloma was praised for breaking with Bond tradition, or Bond girl tradition. The character not only got the movie's biggest laugh, she held her own in gun and hand combat alongside Daniel Craig, saving his Tom Ford suited ass in their scenes together. Now, this was the question I was like, and she's very attractive, so shout out to her. So she went and said this, quote, "Why don't we have more movies about Paloma? Let James Bond, or let James be James and John Wick be John Wick. We'll do our thing." This is what she said during an appearance at the John Wick Experience, a multi-room immersive pop-up where fans can check into the notorious Continental Hotel featured in the Keanu Reeves films. She also went on to say, when you get a woman fighting, you'll be surprised at things she could pull off. Now, the Oscar nominee also noted that Bond's storytelling universe can open to new stories now that its longtime producers have handed the keys to Amazon MGM, saying, "I'm sure that Barbara Broccoli and Robert Wilson made the best decision for James Bond. Whatever happens, that can go anywhere creatively," she says, of future narratives from the world of Ian Fleming's spy novels. Yeah, because there's been rumors that said that now that they are up under the Amazon umbrella, with sidebar, I'm hearing Jeff Bezos is in the bid for trying to buy TikTok. Because TikTok is about to run its course and get banned again. So he's up. Jeff Bezos apparently wants to buy TikTok. I heard the person that owns OF, is trying to buy TikTok. So it's a lot of people out here with a lot of coins that's trying to buy it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I just want to bring that up because Jeff Bezos is part of Amazon. But what they've been talking about with the whole James Bond thing, and I was going to bring up this other James Bond story, but I was like, I don't think y'all even going to care enough, so I'll just bring it up in passing. So yeah, they did talk about James Bond at CinemaCon and said they're going to go this more youthful, exotic approach or whatever. And if they have some interesting ideas to make James Bond, if they want to take him in a different direction, that's fine. But I do agree. Let James Bond be James Bond. It's like those people that was complaining, well, yeah, instead of y'all always complaining about John Boyega, why don't y'all make up your own stuff? I'm like, yeah, we could make our own Star Wars. That would be great. We can make, there's so many there are Black-led projects that were inspired by Star Wars. Those books exist. It'd be nice if the studio came and somebody wanted to buy it and get it greenlit, or maybe some big major Black actor will look at that IP and be like, you know what, I want to develop this and make it into a thing. So I do agree with that. It's kind of like when they were saying, let's make Idris Elba James Bond. No, I would rather Idris Elba play his own super spy within the Bond universe, and y'all spin his character off into his own thing. It's the same thing that I agree with Ana de Armas. Her Paloma character, I absolutely loved her character in that film. Why not, now that she kind of exists, she exists in the Daniel Craig universe, if they still want to use her for something in the future, they can give her her own spin-off movie or possible TV series. I'm sure she wouldn't mind doing it. She could do that show, and then when she's got a break, since you only do like 8-episode shows, she could do that, do the 8 episodes, and then she can go off and make Ballerina 2, and then the same thing, back and forth. That show, if it's season 2, if it's greenlit, and then Ballerina 3, just do that thing. So I like the idea of them. You keep James Bond, the misogynistic, shaken not stirred, womanizing, smug prick that he always has been. And then you bring other characters in. I don't want a damn series around Moneypenny. I don't want a series about surrounding M. Like those characters, they play integral parts within the Bond universe. Now, like I said before, if you want to come up with characters, then you could have a 002, a 003, a 005, a 008, any of those other people. You can have other 00s up in there. They're just playing completely, they just spin it off and give them their own show or their own movie. That's what you do instead of having us sitting around like, we got to wait another 5 years for another James Bond movie. Like, this franchise has been around for like 60-something odd years. And it just feel like y'all be dragging y'all feet making these damn movies. So it definitely, that franchise, that IP definitely deserves to kind of like be expanded beyond and I guess have their own little multiverse or whatever. But I think a lot of people getting tired of the whole multiverse approach to everything because of Marvel and what they do with that. But like I said, I agree with Armas on this. I'm looking forward to seeing Ballerina when it comes out. I've been hearing a lot of great things about it, especially when it comes to the action. But I do agree. I mean, why don't we have a lot more female-led action movies? I've been saying for the longest, where the hell is the Sophia solo movie? And that was the Halle Berry character that Halle Berry played in John Wick Parabellum. That would be the third one. So why not give her own thing? Based off her backstory, she definitely deserves her own film. So we do want to see, and that's not the first time that she's, had a character that was so interesting that it was warranted to get a spinoff, but it never happened. Because remember, at one point, Halle, who was also a Bond girl, she was supposed to get a Jinx spinoff, but then someone went and said, oh, Black women don't sell movies. See, and that's another attitude that I think people neglect too. We're going to spend 60, 70 million on this movie. Nobody's going to go to the movies and see this film. People will go see Halle Berry. Halle Berry is a box office draw. The fact of the matter is, a lot of these studios can't get outside of their prejudices and their racism and that sort of thing. Because how many times have we heard the argument that Black people don't sell movies overseas? That's not a new thing. So yes, we want diversity. I know it's an ugly word for a lot of you racists and a lot of you incels, but we don't only just want to see white men doing every goddamn thing. I love action movies with women at the lead. I love Atomic Blonde. Shout out to Charlize Theron. Where's the sequel to that? I know we're getting a sequel to The Old Guard, which also stars Charlize Theron. So that's supposed to be coming out, I think, in July or something or another on Netflix. So yeah, we definitely need those. Michelle Rodriguez, I always thought that she would kind of be like the queen of making female-led action movies. But it's kind of like when Fast and the Furious ain't happening, she just kind of disappears. So she's another one that I'm like, okay, I would love to see her do more action. I would love to see more Mila Jovovich in action outside of them shitty movies she does with her damn husband. Because every time Paul W.S. Anderson makes a movie with his wife, it always turns out to be a full-on turd. I love seeing Kate Beckinsale when she does action, but she's been in a lot of bad movies, a lot of bad action. What was it, Canary Black? That was terrible. That wig was just as bad as that damn movie that she had on. So we definitely want to see more female-led action films. I don't know, like maybe we need more. Chad Stahelski seems to understand like how to write or come up with really interesting female characters. I just wish we need more Chad Stahelskis in this industry, so that way we can get somebody who can get beyond the beautiful action female thing and just give us a really cool story, complex, really cool action sequences showing women kicking butt, but not just relying on the fact that they're beautiful and sexy. It's like, okay, this is not Charlie's Angels, although Charlie's Angels did their shit with a wink. And it was just like, it was a wink and a nod. It was all campy with that. But we want to see movies where it's just like, you're not trying to make a caricature out of these people. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you agree with Ana de Armas on her thoughts regarding that? Yeah, we need more female-led action movies. Let James Bond be James Bond. Let other people just have their own thing. And yes, we want it to be a place where we want to develop our own stories and our own characters because we're not seeing enough of them. And I'm in that boat. Like, there's ideas that I have then I'm probably gonna have to write scripts myself in order to see that those ideas and those characters reflected on the big and small screen. Since Hollywood ain't doing it, you gotta, if you build it, they will come. Apparently, is what they say, right? So I want to hear from you all. So let me know what your thoughts on this story is in the comments down below. Magical Mermaids in the building. Not 0077. It said we were supposed to get a Jinx film, but because Tomb Raider sequel and Charlie's Angels Full Throttle flop, MGM saw a female. Well, Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, outside of some of those sequences, like I love Demi Moore, but that movie was terrible. And Tomb Raider: The Cradle of Life was not a good movie. Speaking of which, Daniel Craig was in that. So yeah, that Tomb Raider movie was not good. Charlie's Angels was not good, but Halle Berry's character was good. And then what was that? Die Another Day. So it was like, I kind of wish that, I didn't think it was just it came out. It was just a timing thing. I wish they would still explore that option, want to make that, but I don't see it happening because they'd probably be like, it's too little, too late. A couple of decades too late. Susan Wiles is behind negative Elon Musk stories and looks like, oh my God, I wish Elon would go away, or Felon as I like to call him. All right, now speaking of action movies, let's get into the Jean-Claude Van Damme story. I was going to say has-been action stars, but Honor to Armas is not a has-been because her career is just about to blow up once this action movie of hers comes out. But nevertheless, let's get into the Jean-Claude Van Damme story. So now, for those of you who are not familiar, he was known as the Muscles from Brussels back in the day. Jean-Claude Van Damme was around the times of, he was the type of action movie stars that I grew up watching alongside Steven Seagal and Chuck Norris and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. Like, it was just he was in that company of action movie stars. But he would always do like that roundhouse spin kick, and he was always nude in a lot of his movies. So whenever Jean-Claude Van Damme showed up on the screen, we got to see that ass. And John was fine back in the day. Now he look like you've been snorting a little too much of that booger sugar, and it just turned your skin into leather. But that ain't the only thing he been out here allegedly doing. And look, he has been very candid about his booger sugar use in the past. I don't know if he's still using it. I would not be surprised. But if he was, but now he out here hunching Romanian women he knew were trafficked and were given to him as a gift from this organized crime group known as the Morel Bolea. Why that sound like something out of a John Wick movie? But anyway, according to People, they said a criminal complaint was filed by the Romanian Directorate for Investigating Organized Crime and Terrorism, DICOT for short, against the Street Fighter star. That was another movie I forgot he was in with Kylie Minogue and Raul Julia, may he rest in peace, alleging that he knowingly engaged in sexual relations with women trafficked by a criminal group led by Morel Bolea, according to CNN affiliate Antenna 3. The incident allegedly took place in Cannes, where the actor was accused of having received 5 Romanian women as a gift with prior knowledge that they came from a group of traffickers, according to the criminal complaint obtained by the outlet. Yet now they out here selling people. Attorney Adrian Kukulis, who represents one of the victims, told the outlet that the women were in a state of vulnerability with the suspicion that they were exploited within the meaning of Article 182 of the Criminal Code. Van Damme's reps for and DICOT did not immediately respond to People's request for comment. Now, one of the women who witnessed the incident, which repeatedly occurred at an event organized by Van Damme in Cannes, shared that she saw with prosecutors, according to Antenna 3 CNN. This prompted the DICOT to open a criminal investigation into the incident. Saying, quote, 7 Romanians who were currently being investigated for forming a criminal group and pimping allegedly offered Jean-Claude Van Damme 5 Romanian women, photo models in Romania, for him to have sexual relationships with. The person who received those benefits knew their condition, attorney Adrian Kukulis told the outlet in a translated post. Kukulis noted to Antenna 3 that the incident is part of a larger investigation into human trafficking and the trafficking of minors that began in 2020 to the prosecutor's office in Romania. So yeah, and I was sitting here wondering, okay, so with all this coming out, child, look at this. Yeah. Um, what is gonna happen to him? So they said the High Court of Cassation in France, where Cannes is located, must authorize criminal proceedings, and the suspects identified in the case will be summoned to Romania to give statements. Van Damme made his breakout with 1988's Bloodsport and went on to star in several action films, including Kickboxer, Double Impact, and The Expendables 2. He most recently appeared as a voice actor in 2022's Minions, Rise of Gru, and 2025's The Gardener. So yeah, now he's just resorted to straight streaming or straight to cable, whatever type action movies. That's what he does at this point. But in regards to this whole story, I'm like, well, yeah, I guess if you knew that you were out here hunting prostitutes, which is not a big deal. Like people hunt hookers. I mean, it's transactional. They get, well, I guess the pimp get the money. They're not necessarily getting the money. But when you get with these hookers and all this other stuff, sometimes people do that because it's like, you know what? I'm going in, I hunt you, I move on, you get paid. I'm not really trying to get in a relationship. I'm really not, it's like no strings attached. I'm just trying to get some and move on with my life. And I'm out here doing movies, whatever the case is. But it's the fact of that these girls were willingly trafficked and you are aware of it. I do wonder what the laws are in Romania and what does that mean? Like you went and intentionally had sex with these women. Does that mean that you're going to do jail time? I mean, look, maybe what you could do is ask for a pardon and get shipped and get your ass down to Florida, like the Tate brothers. Didn't that what the current idiot chief did for the Tates? So I guess that's what you could do and ask him for a pardon, since he loves pardoning criminals and corrupt politicians and judges. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of Jean-Claude Van Damme out here hunching hookers who were allegedly human trafficked? So whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know in the comments down below. I said, oh, this guy Van Damme, I have no reason to think this, but I am not surprised. Well, yeah. When I looked at it, I was like, yeah, I'm not that surprised either. That he would be doing such hood rat things. Are they all connected to Kingpin and probably? I would not be surprised. Could you imagine, like, when they mention Romania and human trafficking and stuff? It would not be a big surprise if he was kind of lumped into his situation. All right, y'all. Okay, so now let's get to this messy story. So now, yesterday, I was minding my business when I came across this story, and I'm aware of Patrick McDonald because I remember like he was working a lot of reality shows, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, I know her because I remember seeing Patrick McDonald. Patrick McDonald, for those of you who are not aware, I believe he was a field producer. Well, he's an associate producer. He had always graduated to doing different things as a producer, but I remember him because he was on a show on Logo called Fire Island. And then at one point, so now he's saying that the reason why, for that Bravo basically ghosted him, and then they, I guess, decided to no longer work with him. Now he's worked on shows, he's been over at Bravo for 5 years, but he's worked on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Orange County, Married to Medicine, Vanderpump Rules, the Scandal season, and a bunch of other shows over at Bravo. But he says that he's apparently been blackballed because they discovered he makes adult content on OF. Now, I don't know if y'all do background checks. Well, clearly y'all don't, because a lot of times Bravo, y'all be letting things slip through the cracks when it comes to certain things. But I could have told you, Patrick McDonald has even before y'all were even aware of his situation with the OF, he was doing adult performance, like adult cinematography, acting for, I believe, was it Treasure Island Media or it might have been Treasure Island Media, because I remember he was getting gangbanged. I was trying to find a way to be clean about it, but yeah, he was getting flooded out. Bear that. So this is not news. So where the fuck y'all been? But anyway, apparently he decided to take over to the Twitter to air his grievances. Now, what I want to do is, because I don't want to hold y'all any longer, I want to play y'all the video. Now, I will warn you, the video was on damn near 18 minutes. So, we're going to be here for a minute. But I'm going to put it on. I'm going to eat my pizza because I am hungry. So, I'm going to play this clip. I know I don't normally eat on the job, but apparently, on the job, I usually eat during my break. But, I'm going to play this clip for y'all because there's a lot that he talks about, especially behind the scenes, certain people working with Garcelle. I think when it was an outing situation, he was referring to Kyle Richards, but we'll get into it. And then him talking about his OF content and all that stuff. Y'all should know what OF is. I shouldn't have to tell y'all. If I do, you may have to just Google schmoogle. But anyway, let's get to that clip. We're going to play her and then we're going to come back and talk. Please hold.
What's up, y'all? My name is Patrick McDonald, and for the last 5 years, I've been producing reality shows for Bravo. Most recently, I was serving as the supervising producer on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Orange County, and Vanderpump Rules. That is until recently when I was iced out and essentially blackballed by all my shows after I started creating adult content on subscription fan sites. Now, why would I start creating adult content? Well, I was extremely burnt out, overworked, and exhausted by the toxic work culture on a lot of the shows that I worked on. I produced 13 seasons of Bravo across 9 different shows. I'm acutely aware of the inner workings and the work culture across the board at the network. Most of these shows, you're working 12 plus hour days, 6 days a week, 3 to 4 months at a time. And then I would look at these people in my life who are content creators, and they're working far less than me, making a lot more money than me, doing whatever they want, whenever they want, living a life of freedom. By contrast, I started to look at how much of my life I was devoting to work, and it made me really start to question what I was doing with my life. Now, I'm not an idiot. I knew there was a chance when I started making adult content that it could jeopardize my work with Bravo. But on the other hand, it's 2025. There's Real Housewives and other Bravo reality stars with fan sites. So if someone that's a face of the network can create a fan site, certainly it shouldn't be a problem for someone who works behind the scenes, right? We're seeing guests on Watch What Happened Live being corrected when they use the word hooker and told to say sex worker. We're having adult entertainers bartending in the clubhouse. So I thought, maybe it wouldn't be an issue. Maybe then I could kind of pick and choose which shows I take, evening out my work-life balance a little bit and supplementing my income with the fan sites. I'm not sure if me being iced out was done at a network level or at a production company level, but all I know is that once I started creating this content, things went radio silent with the executive teams on my shows. I haven't heard from the exec team on Beverly Hills since we left St. Lucia, and I haven't heard from the OC exec team since we shot the last reunion, where it became abundantly clear to me that word had gotten out about my fan sites. Once I realized I was being iced out, even though I knew it was a possibility, it still hurt my feelings, to be perfectly honest. For the last 5 years, I've given so much of myself to these shows, pouring my energy, heart, and soul to telling these compelling stories, all while enduring incredibly intense pressure from a lot of my bosses. Now, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone more passionate about their job at Bravo than me. I have loved Bravo and been enamored by Real Housewives ever since I saw Sheree shifting Kim Zolciak's wig out in front of Jimmy John's on Atlanta back in the day. I love these shows. I loved them then, and I love them to this day. And I love them because I know how much they mean to people, because I know how much they meant to me. I was proud and honored to work on these shows, and as it turned out, I was really good at it. I came into the Bravo world in a bit of an unconventional way. Several years ago, I myself was on a reality show much like these shows called Fire Island. And I was on that show during one of the darkest periods of my life. I was battling a serious drug addiction at the time that I was keeping a secret during production. So I know what it's like to be on one of these shows while your life is crumbling around you and you're trying to just keep it together. It's a really unique position to be in, and one that's very hard to understand until you go through it yourself. Shortly after Fire Island wrapped, I was a homeless junkie, shooting up 3 to 4 times a day and was sleeping under bridges, But then I went to rehab. I got clean and I started to rebuild my life. I've been sober for about 1.5 years, working 2 jobs, one at a grocery store and one cutting down trees, when I got my first offer to work on a Bravo show. I was so beyond grateful for that job because I honestly thought I'd never work in TV again. So I took it and I ran with it and gave it everything I had. I started out as a logger on Married to Medicine, and I quickly climbed the ladder from there. My next show, I got a promotion. My next show, I got a promotion. By my 4th show, I was promoted to field producer, and I was running a crew on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Within the next 2 years, I was promoted to supervising producer, working directly under the co-executive producers. And, for the first time in my life, I really knew I was great at something. And that was consistently affirmed by my supervisors and the cast members that I produced. Most of the showrunners would tell me that I was one of the best field producers they'd ever worked with. Cast cast members who were notoriously challenging for producers in the past, requesting that I produce their scenes. I was in my element, I was killing it. I was really freaking proud of myself. For the first couple years, I think I was blinded to the toxic culture on a lot of these shows by my excitement to be there. But after a while, I started to step back and question the way these shows were being run. I could see how overworked and stressed out a lot of my colleagues were. And I would look at a lot of the gay men who were showrunners on this show and try to picture my life if I was in their position. And honestly, most of them seemed unhappy, lonely, and some of them quite miserable. Is this really what I want out of my life? Is this the trajectory I want to continue down? So time went on, and my passion for the genre started to wane as a result by how poorly cast and crew were treated at times. And for someone who loves Housewives as much as I do, I was quite shocked by how disenchanted I became. I also developed a bit of a moral dilemma on a recent season when a cast member's sexuality was at the center of a storyline. I found the internal conversations about this person and what they were going through to be extremely insensitive, problematic, and quite frankly, gross. A person's coming out journey, if they have one, is entirely their own. Full stop. Now, let me be clear. I'm not talking about friends of this person who are also on the show who would naturally be inquisitive and ask questions about someone's life and who they're dating. I'm talking about the entity of a TV show digging into someone's sexuality in a way that's salacious and sensationalized. That's what the internal dialogue felt like to me. Producers encouraging other cast members to ask direct questions that would put this person's sexuality on the spot just felt really invasive to me and crossed the line that I wasn't really comfortable with. I would see people at the executive level who have worked with this cast member for years, seemingly very close, talk to this cast member in a seemingly compassionate way. And then when the cast member would walk away, they completely changed their tune and spoke of this person and what they were going through with such a lack of empathy and respect, even going so far as to using a gay slur, that it was truly shocking. I thought to myself, if this is how they treat this person, someone who has bled out for this show and this network in ways that most people will never know, if this is...
Now, hold on. Before he finishes with that, we got to address that Kyle situation, because I'm guessing, like, with the first time when I saw this video, because I did watch it all the way through yesterday, I was like, he got to be talking about Kyle Richards, because what other person on the Housewives has been having an issue where they trying to figure out their sexuality? On one hand, Kyle was playing into it. Nobody told her to play the love interest of Morgan Wade in that music video, which of course had people wondering, okay, is there a thing there and all this other stuff? And if you were on a reality show while this thing is progressing, it's like, yeah, let the cast members genuinely or curiously ask, is this somebody that you're remotely interested in? But the whole slur situation and all that other stuff that somebody was going on, I don't stand for that. I don't like the fact that we got people behind the scenes that's being homophobic in this situation, would may have played into the reason why Kyle was being coy, but then we would never know it because Kyle always tries to play it up both sides. She always tries to have it both ways, and a lot of the way she comes across on the show, that she'll put things out there in the universe, and when people want to know what's going on, whether it is her issues with Mauricio allegedly been cheating on her throughout her whole marriage, or the fact that she might be into getting her box eaten by someone of the same gender, she always wants to kind of deflect, which kind of makes people feel like, okay, stop playing in our face. And so that's why I think a lot of people don't really have that much empathy for her. But I do agree with him when he said that, you know what, it's your journey. You got to come out in your own time. It should be when you're ready. And y'all should be trying to force somebody because y'all want a storyline. You're trying to force a situation, which he does get more into. Now, I just want to point that out before he goes on and before I forget. So now let's get back to what he had to say.
This is how they talk about them. They are never going to have my back. And it turns out I was right. The circumstances around that storyline were a major contributing factor to me realizing that it was time to make a change. I also want to quickly touch on Garcelle announcing her departure from the show because I've seen some wildly negative things said about her online. I could go on for days about what a pleasure Garcelle was to work with, but if you really want to measure the character of a real housewife, ask the crew members who they like to shoot with the most. You can learn a lot about a person by the way they treat the people that they think can do nothing for them. Any morning when the crew found out that we were spending the day with Garcelle, they were ecstatic. And they most definitely do not feel that way about all of the ladies on the show. And I'm so proud of Garcelle for prioritizing her life over a television show. You know, I found many parallels between producing reality TV and producing adult content. They both offer a voyeuristic view into some of the most vulnerable and mostly unseen moments in people's lives. But I have to say that I've found adult entertainment to be far less invasive than reality TV. It's interesting because most of Bravo's shows and Housewives are centered around conflict. people hurting one another and then making up and then hurting one another again. And society deems that as perfectly acceptable. But God forbid you produce content about people pleasuring each other, making one another feel good. How scandalous, right? When it's more palatable for mainstream society to watch people hurt one another than it is to pleasure one another, it's no wonder the world's in the state that it's in. For me, my life has become much more balanced, more fulfilling, and far less toxic since I started working in adult entertainment. For so much of my life, I made decisions based upon what other people will think. What will my family think? What will my coworkers think? What will society think? Other people's opinions often shape so much of our decision making. And honestly, adult entertainment has been something I've been interested in doing for a long time, but I was too scared to do because of the fear of what other people might think. Man, you've got one life to live, and it's yours alone. And I've been having such a blast making this content for the past few months. I mean, working with the housewives can be fun at times, but traveling the world to film with some of the most beautiful men on the planet is also a pretty top tier job, if you ask me. But while I am extremely proud of a lot of the work I've done with Bravo, I am just as proud of the work that I'm doing now. And let me say this, sex work is real, legitimate work, and it has been since the dawn of humanity. Shout out to all the sex workers out there who have been discriminated against, unfairly judged, or cast aside because of what they choose to do with their own bodies. Those have been villainized by many of the same people who consume the product and services that they provide. So I thank those who have endlessly battled the stigma and demanded a seat at the table, all while building an industry so massive and so profitable that it made it a safe enough space for real housewives like Denise Richards and Larsa Pippen to start creating adult content on fan sites. It occurred to me that maybe Bravo isn't even aware of some of the volatile working conditions that these producers and crew are subjected to, especially on these cast trips. On my first international cast trip, I found myself in hand-to-hand combat with a real housewife. There I was in my Lady Gaga t-shirt, making $1,000 a week as an associate producer, freaking like Simba and Scar with this housewife, trying to stop her from physically assaulting another cast member with a metal pole. Needless to say, these shows are stressful enough without the added pressure of an egomaniacal showrunner with incredibly unrealistic expectation. Oftentimes, the co-executive producers are left doing damage control for all the things the showrunners screw up, while also being the only ones who actually get anything done. I've always been a firm believer in trying to leave a place better than you found it. So here are a few things that I think need to change at Bravo, and just a few things that maybe need to be brought to their attention. Stop overworking your producers to the point of complete exhaustion. The amount of pressure and the expectations put on producers and crews on these cast trips are truly insane. You see, these shows aren't unionized, so there aren't protections in place to ensure that employees aren't being mistreated and overworked. Now, some shows do these trips correctly. Vanderpump Rules, for example, staggers their crews and their producers to ensure that everyone is given adequate rest. That's a testament to the showrunner and the production management on that show, the seasons that I was on it, because they actually cared about the well-being for the cast and crew. And that was reflected in the vibe of that crew. People loved working on that show because of great leadership. Winter House was another example of an executive producer who made sure that producers and crew were staggered. And that, too, was one of the happiest crews I worked for on my time at Bravo. On the other hand, you have showrunners that run these trips like tyrants. They expect every producer to be at the cast rooms at 8 a.m., and they will keep every producer on working until like 2 a.m. Now, if you were a general in the Army, would you send every one of your soldiers to the battlefield at the same time? Of course not. Send them in waves to ensure the longevity and endurance of your army as a whole. Same thing applies here. Why would you overexert every single producer on your team unnecessarily when you could stagger them and keep everyone rested and on point for the entire battle? These trips are a battle. On a recent cast trip, myself and a group of crew members traveled 22 hours to an international location. Now, a travel day is a work day. You aren't resting, you're taking flights, you're changing planes, you're receiving gear, you're working. And God forbid you are traveling with the cast. Try being the only producer traveling with 7 housewives on an international flight. God love them, but you are not resting. It's a lot. So we arrive at the hotel after having traveled and worked for the past 22 hours straight, and we receive a text that says, "Welcome. Please drop your bags in your room and freshen up and be in the lobby within the hour for a full day of scouting." Mind you, the executive producer and many others had advanced to the location days before and got a full night's sleep that none of us had. Yet, even though we had just finished a 22-hour workday, we were expected to begin another workday without a wink of sleep. That is unacceptable and I'm pretty sure highly illegal. But on these trips, because there isn't much of a network presence, the entire cast, crew, and production team is at the mercy of one showrunner. and some of these showrunners are wilding out on these trips. The number of times I've consoled a crying segment producer in a foreign country because they couldn't find a pretty enough basket weaving biscuit shop that would meet the incredibly unreasonable expectations of the executive producer. Now, this job is not that serious, so nobody should be driven to the point of tears working on a show about screaming ladies in fancy places. Also, stop overexerting your crews. The camera and audio teams on these shows bust their asses following these cast members around, all while carrying extremely heavy equipment. So every measure should be taken to ensure that they are well taken care of. But unfortunately, there is this culture of content is king on these shows, meaning that nothing is more important than what will appear on the screen. Well, I'm sorry, but I think the health and wellness of human beings should be king. I can't tell you how many times I've popped into Video Village to be like, hey, B Crew was supposed to break for lunch 30 minutes ago, and I'm met with we're in the middle of a scene, we'll break them when we can. All while this guy's like sipping on a Diet Coke and eating a cheese plate without even consulting the people that are holding the heavy cameras. So they can write a summary to send to the network. Specifically mention the loggers because these people are some of the most overworked and underpaid people in the entertainment industry. These are the people who are transcribing the scene work so they can write a summary to send to the network to read what happened for the day. They're expected to be very detailed and accurate. Now, first of all, the logger position should be an associate producer position across the board. A lot of these shows will call them loggers so they can pay them less for doing the same job as an associate producer. But these people work so hard and they deserve that AP title. The loggers have to work their full 12+ hour day, and then they have to go home and write a summary, which can take hours, especially on the cast trips when we're shooting all day. That is a lot of writing. So these loggers go back to their rooms and are sometimes up until 4 a.m. and then have to be ready to work again at 8 a.m. By the second day of the trip, they are zombies. And the worst part is that they often aren't even paid for all the extra hours that they spend writing. Can't tell you how many times a logger has complained to me that production denied their overtime requests because they didn't request it in advance. Now, how can you request something in advance when you don't know how long it's going to take you to write something? The entire hot sheet system needs to be overhauled and streamlined because as it stands, it's completely broken. I would encourage Bravo to reach out to every logger and AP on the most current seasons of all the shows and ask them if their hours worked accurately were reflected in the hours that they were paid for, because I can guarantee you that in a lot of cases they were not. Because these shows are produced in the field by a production company and not the network, there is rarely a network presence on set, if at all. There's occasionally a network exec on cast trips, but they usually pop in for a day or two and sit at Video Village watching the monitors. They're not involved with production logistics. I would encourage Bravo to send an HR representative to location for the entire duration of these cast trips to ensure that the cast and the crew are being treated fairly, professionally, and given their adequate breaks and rest time between shoot days. Another thing I'd like to see change is let's stop telling cast members how to feel. There were so many times on my last few seasons where I'd arrive to a scene and the housewife would tell me, now I know I'm supposed to feel appreciative to her about this, but I just really don't. I'm like, who told you you're supposed to feel that way? The executive producer. It is such a disservice, not only to the cast member, but also to the producer who's trying to produce an authentic scene for reality television. And also, it just makes for bad TV. It's clunky, bad producing. A good producer will arrive to a scene, talk to their cast member, and find out how they feel. If the cast member doesn't know, a great producer will talk it through with them and help them figure out how they feel. A bad producer will just tell them how to feel. Several housewives on my last few seasons have been complaining that they've never been told how to feel so much. Because here's what happens. Say the producer convinces the cast member to say they feel that way. So they do it. A day or so later, the cast member gets upset in a scene, and then their true feelings come out. And now they look crazy, and the audience is left thinking, wow, what a flip-flopper, what the hell? Well, that's the producer's fault, and the cast member is left to eat it. So if you're a housewife or a cast member on one of these shows, and a producer comes in strongly pressuring you to feel a certain way, just know that that producer is producing you with an agenda, and they probably don't have your best interest at heart. Always go with your gut and stay true to your own feelings, because you can always stand on your truth, or else it'll come back to bite you, which I have seen happen on multiple shows. These people are compelling enough on their own. We don't need to be telling them how to feel. It's ruining the show, so stop doing it. I'd also like to say that there are so many wonderful, hardworking people that make these shows. Many of the producers, cast, crew members have become dear friends of mine over the years. I've talked to several of them since being iced out, and not one of them has told me that me making adult content made them uncomfortable. But you know what many of them have told me makes them uncomfortable? Holding a camera or an audio bag for 4 hours straight in the tropical heat without a break. That makes them uncomfortable. While there were many things that I loved about my time with Bravo, it was no longer a place for me because it wasn't conducive to a happy life. I'm no longer living to work. I guess the big lesson here for me is to never pour all of yourself into a company or an organization that will cast you aside in a heartbeat. We're here for like 2 seconds. Live your life for you and you alone. So, if the content I'm making now sounds like something you might be interested in checking out, my username across all platforms is at ThickTrick1. Come find me. Let's have some fun. If
Let's have some fun. This beat is sick. I want to take a ride on your disco stick. I was like trying to pull it up so that way y'all can get the thing again. Hold on. Let me move this banner out the way. Cause I'm sitting there saying, you want to know something, Patrick? I actually agree with every word that he said in that whole situation because I was like, you want to know something? This is why I'm like, at the end of the day, I don't know if I would ever do a reality show because the way y'all be treating people up in there, you're not unionized. This is why they were saying something or another that Bethany Frankel had that reality reckoning. There was a lot of people that was coming behind the scenes complaining and stuff. And I understand, like, a lot of these production companies, they go out and they put these shows together, and a lot of them aren't unionized. And then they basically just selling this stuff to the networks because then the networks can find a loophole, not having to pay people their worth and stuff. This is why I always feel like unions are vitally important. Hence, the Hollywood union, where they have the actors, they have SAG-AFTRA, they have their own union. There's other people that have unions, directors union, things of that nature. I do feel like reality stars should have a union. I understand, yet, a lot of these people are just looking for an opportunity, want to make a whole lot of money. And a lot of these people that's on these housewives, yeah, they got money because of who they married to. But the reality show is they ain't really, the reality is they're not making a lot of money from these reality shows. And the reality TV shows that they appear on is basically a stepping stone for them to promote all the other things that they do. So, I'm definitely with him on everything he had to say in that whole situation. And yes, to answer your question, magical, what was it? No, this was Enumbria. Yes, I mentioned that earlier. He was on a reality show called Fire Island, which he does bring up in the video. And he did, I don't know, was it Royal F Club or was it Treasure Island Media? Because I could have sworn it's one of them. So yeah, I do remember, like, I saw a video of him. He was getting flooded out, which is I'm not judging because shout out to y'all if y'all like the gangbangs and all that other stuff. I have a friend that likes doing the being a sea dump. And people got their fetishes, so I don't judge. Any kind of sex, as long as it's consensual, as long as you know what you're doing, and as long as you're being safe about it in the context of you ain't got a bunch of you not getting your back blown out by a bunch of serial killers, then you good. But trust and believe, there's that too with the whole reality stars showing up late and a lot of diva behaviors and stuff. Because, like he said, when he mentioned in the video that when it came to Garcelle, a lot of people giving Garcelle a lot of hate on the show, or when she was announcing that she was leaving. But people said that, well, everybody who got to work with Garcelle said that she was a class act, she was professional, they love working with her. The same cannot be said for a lot of them other women that they've had to work with on the show. And I do think it is crazy that you got me traveling to an international part of the planet, and I'm jumping on multiple planes. I've got jet lag. And then all of a sudden you want me to jump right into the field and come to work? Oh, hell no. I'm like, I guess I'm going to have to lose some money, or you're going to have to fire my ass, because there ain't no way in hell I came all these hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, damn near 24 hours. To as soon as I touch down, I can't even put my stuff in the hotel room, and we got to go, right into the filming. You got to be out your damn mind with that. I mean, yeah, it was like he does look completely different, because I remember, like, when he was on Fire Island and he was in that video, that G-Bang movie, video, he was a lot smaller. But I think that was around the time when he said that he was on the drugs and things of that nature. So, and he probably needed some money. But now, yeah, he definitely looks like you on that HGH. You probably taking, I don't know if he's taking steroid, but you know how the girls are. It's like the minute the gays get out there and they hit the gym, they doing the HGH, they doing all kinds of other stuff. They get the lip injections, because them lips is not natural, chair. But I'm not judging. I like Patrick, and I like what he's been putting out here, and I'm glad that he spilled the tea, which has me thinking I believe every word because, you know, with Leah McSweeney and all these other people that came out and said things, and Leah McSweeney's case can now go forward. But I think this was before he came out and spilled this tea. It was somebody who worked behind the scenes as a part of the crew, as a producer, is spilling tea about the craziness that's going on behind the scenes, then why aren't people inclined to believe a reality star when they say that they were trying to do things to manipulate and to get a rise out of them? Particularly when he said that you have producers trying to produce the artist and telling the artist how to act. Well, you need to react to this sort of situation. You're trying to tell people how to feel. It's like, no, let it be a natural, let the emotion be a natural situation. Don't force something, because we can always, as an audience, we can tell when y'all trying to BS us. We can tell when y'all are putting on airs. So, I don't like when they, when they be up in there doing all of that. So I don't feel no way side in regards of Patrick coming out and spilling this side of what was going on behind the scenes. And here's the thing, you getting fired, I feel like that was a blessing in disguise. Because, and I always look at it that way, because I know, like, trust and believe, I've been fired from many jobs, and I'll be feeling real upset about it, because I'm like, damn, now I got to file for unemployment. I ain't got no money going to be coming in because I was working that regular job. But then you realize when you look back on it, that job, I hated being there. The people got on my goddamn nerves. My patience was tested. And then it's like, all the complaints, like what he was bringing up about Bravo, that would have been me doing the same damn thing. So when they fire you, that's literally how I look at it. It's the universe saying, you know what? Because you're not going to actually go and quit the job. Because if you quit, you're not going to get no unemployment. Firation always gets you unemployment, in case people didn't know that. And you're going to continue to be miserable, continue to just be moving along like a zombie or whatever the case is. And then when you get fired, like, damn, now I'm mad. What am I going to do? It's like because we're conditioned to believe that, yeah, you have to get up, do the job and all this other stuff, but you're killing yourself. You're wasting away a lot of hours, a lot of time. You're not spending time with your friends. You're not spending time going out and doing things and enjoying life. At least when you do content, it's like, yeah, you get to travel the world. You get to have sex with a lot of amazing men. And you got the body, you got the looks, people like, his features and things of that nature. Even if it does take a little needle getting injected in your lip and a little Botox. It's like, people like all of that. This is like a standard Chelsea Queen look. Or I guess some people view in LA would say West Hollywood, but this is the Chelsea Queen look. I think he lives in New York. But anyway, shout out to you, Patrick. I know it sounds like I'm reading. I'm not. I just be, when I talk, I just be saying some stuff and it comes across as shady. But shout out to you. I'm glad you came out and spoke out. But I wonder what's going to become of this? Because I do feel it's quite hypocritical. You got Denise Richards up in here and her daughter, Sammy, out here doing OF content. You got Larsa Pippen thirsty behind, out here doing OF content. You have a lot of people. Didn't he have Raheem Shabazz not too long ago? Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live in the Clubhouse behind the bar. Like, you be allowing adult performers and you allow OF content creators on your show to be in the background. You do drag queens too, which I'm like, I don't know why you don't put them in the chair. You put them behind the bar to just be background fodder. But he has these people on the show, so it's cute. We can celebrate these people as background noise and decorations and tchotchkes. But when it comes around to actually celebrating sex work, and yes, there's a lot of people in this business, in this industry, that do sex work. Sex work is the world's oldest profession. We need to stop judging people on that type of profession. And I do feel like, yeah, in so many ways with him, he was like, people would judge. I was always worrying about what other people think, but now that I'm out here doing OF content, I get to make my own hours. I get to do whatever I want to do. I'm not sitting out here working 14 to 16-hour days for 3 months straight, 6 days a week with no rest. And I'm exhausted and I got an attitude and I don't want to be around nobody. I don't want to deal with nothing. But at least if I do content, it's like, yeah, it's a lot more work, but I can make up my hours and it's so much more rewarding. And I get a lot of time for myself as well. Because, after you do the performances, down to the promotion. Kind of like what I do with this show. It's like, once I'm done with this live stream and I cut up these episodes, there's a lot of work that goes into constantly promoting your product. So I say all this to say, to wrap all this up, what do you guys think of this story in regards of the tea that Patrick McDonald spilled about what was going on behind the scenes at Bravo, and how a lot of times when you're not unionized, how they take advantage of a lot of their talent, a lot of the crew, the way that they're overworking all their big producers. Like, how do you have them all working at the same time? You have one or maybe two of them. If you got like 4 producers, have like 2 of them working simultaneously with each other and have them work in shifts. Like, why do you got all of them at the same time doing everything? That means they worn out, they're exhausted, they got an attitude and all this other stuff. It's like, no, that's not smart to work that way. It's like the way he was describing the producer behind Vanderpump Rules. I'm like, that sounds more like a way to go for me, but I don't know. At this point, I don't even think Vanderpump Rules coming back, or they done got rid of the whole damn cast. So I say all this to say, whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Say, child, I already know that that video is gonna be a long one because the video alone was like 30, damn near, 20 minutes. I was like, yeah, if you want to go follow her over on the social media, I had to go and show y'all that link. You said and some HG. Well, look, when you get to be a certain age, and yeah, your hormone intake does deplete as you get older, especially with men, the testosterone and stuff goes down. So yeah, we do need them HG. I remember one time I had a friend who was in the military. He also voted for Trump, so I don't really speak to him no more. But he was always talking about like, yeah, let's go to Mexico and get some HGH. I'm like, who the fuck going to Mexico and trying to bring back human growth hormones? I'm like, I'm not doing all of that travelation. Now, if you can get me some, I would do it. But that's like to basically replace a lot of the testosterone that you that kind of goes away as you get older. So I would try to bring it back with working out. All right, so now we talked about Patrick McDonald and all this other stuff that was going on with Bravo. Let's continue that trend and let's get into this Leah McSweeney story, because apparently there's some good news on her part because, remember Bethany Frankel was talking about this big reality reckoning. I don't know what happened with her in that whole reality reckoning thing. I don't know if maybe Bravo got to her, was like, tread lightly, broad, like we could ruin you. And because she was over there talking for so much on TikTok about this reality reckoning and taking Bravo to task for the way that he's treating a lot of the Bravo celebrities and a lot of reality stars, and was trying to formulate a union, which I do think would be smart to have a union for a lot of reality talent. It's like, why not give them a union and all this other stuff? But I guess, they try to produce things in a way where it's like they can get a reaction, all this other stuff out of the people. So Leah, has had a lot of complaints about how she was treated and how they was trying to mess with her sobriety over there at Bravo, that now the judge says that she could move forward with her case. So the Real Housewives of New York City star claimed in a bombshell February 2024 lawsuit that producers preyed on her alcohol addiction, intentionally trying to make her fall off the wagon in an attempt to make ratings-grabbing TV. Bravo filed a motion in May to dismiss her suit. But on Monday, a judge published a 100-page ruling that dismissed parts of the suit but allows her to keep much of her case intact, including the crux of her allegations, that producers directly coerced and harassed her based on her addiction. Which, now that I'm saying all of this, and we had Patrick McDonald, who used to work as a producer on shows like The Housewives of Orange County, The Housewives of Beverly Hills, Vanderpump Rules, Married to Madison, and he started pointing out the fact that, yeah, producers would do certain things to get a reaction out of the talent, including when it was about one person that they were saying homophobic things to, even though they've given so much of themselves to the show, which made me think, yeah, okay, these are my Kyle Richards. So if a producer from behind the scenes is coming out and spilling tea on this, are we inclined to believe that maybe that Leah is not lying? So Judge Lewis Lyman agreed that the producers' oral arguments, which they made in a New York court in November, that they had a First Amendment right to demand that stars of the famously booze-soaked flagship show drink alcohol while filming it, since it is not incidental but central to the show's message that the drinking activities it portrays are authentic and genuine. And yeah, I already told y'all, or maybe y'all are new to this, but once upon a time, Chris was on an episode of Real Housewives of New York. Now, I don't think, not the season with Leah McSweeney, it was a season where it was sending the clowns. It was the Big Apple Circus episode. They were in my section. I worked at the Big Apple Circus at the time, and they had oh my God, I forgot the damn chick's name. She was our ring master. And I see her in my damn head, but I totally forgot her damn name. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So anyway, in the episode, y'all can go back. I think it was like season 11, season 12. I can't remember that far back when the season was. But I remember there was a point where the producers asked me, and I don't know, for some reason, I sensed it was coming. The producers asked me, they were like, can you take these drinks down to the women? Because they were in the front row on my, like in my section, because we have two people that pretty much run, because the big top is huge. So I had me was running, managing one side. I had another person that was managing the other side. And of course I got that job because of my friend Peter Carrero was actually the big top boss. So he hooked me up with that good ass job. So I was basically managing a bunch of other ushers, this, that, and the other. But anyway, so I brought the drinks down to them, and I knew that I was going to be on camera. So, because I can see all the cameras around, I'm always observant and alert. I look at everything that's going on in the room because that's what your job is when you are actually managing a specific area where you're dealing with talent or whatever the case is. You have to be observant in your job. So I brought the drinks down. I came up, and it was like, I don't know if you're aware, but you were just filmed on TV because I did talk to Tinsley Mortimer. Now it comes to me because I talked to Tinsley's mother, and we had a little moment. If you even watch the episode, you see that I have a conversation with Tinsley's mother. I brought the drinks down to Tinsley's mother, and then they passed the drinks down and everything to Dorinda and all the other women. And then I went back up. One of the producers was like, yeah, just so you're aware, you're on TV. Do you want to be on the show? If I said no, I already knew they was going to blur up my damn face. And I was like, I'll sign it. So I signed the paperwork, giving them permission to put me on the TV show. So yes, drinking is encouraged. I brought the drinks to them. So yes, I truly believe that yes, they do encourage the drinking, but how they behave in beyond that is, I guess, up to them, and they just gonna film what they can film, and if it's salvageable, then they'll use it. But if it's not privy to the story, because there was a scene where Tinsley and Sonia was having a whole conversation. I'm sitting there holding up the wire at one point because the cameraman, the boom person was all there. So I'm helping them out. This is another scene that was cut. So I'm like holding up the wire and everything so it's not in the shot, helping them out. And it was just like Tinsley could barely keep her eyes open. Sonia was a drunken hot mess. They were having this conversation. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I believe they cut the scene. And Ramona was there too, but she came in, act like she ain't seen no damn body. Her rude ass came in, just walked past everybody, sat down, and then left. So she just did her little walkthrough, and that was it. But you don't really see her in the episode because she came in and she left. Which I'm glad they kind of don't have Ramona on there. She was such a racist. Well, I don't know. She was racist to me, but just her energy was stank. I didn't particularly care for her. But to get back to the story, I just had to let y'all know that tea because it was like, yeah, I do truly believe that the producers and stuff, the alcohol is basically in so many ways, it's not central to the show's message, but they do want you to drink so that way you can loosen up a little bit. Now, how much you consume is, a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. So yeah, they said that it is not incidental but central to the show's message that the drinking activities it portrays are authentic and genuine. But Judge Lyman said that she can continue to sue Bravo over how they treated her drinking issues. The judge noted that McSweeney alleged that the producers joked about her drinking issues in her presence despite her request that they stop, taunted her about her alcohol use disorder, and tried to undermine her sobriety through harassing comments, directed other cast members to bring up her mental health and substance abuse issues and to call her a drug addict, and coached cast members to further disparage her. And didn't Patrick say in the previous story that we didn't he say that, yeah, producers would even like encourage some of the talent to be evasive in some of the things that was said? So if a producer is saying this, a former producer who's got a little sour grapes about his firation because he does OnlyFans, is saying all of this, then why not? Why are we not inclined to believe Leah and what her accusations are. So Bravo, you in danger, girl. Y'all gonna have to pay up. And I believe every word this lady is saying. But let's get back into it. He said they'll have to answer for those allegations. Now, he also rules that she can continue to sue over allegations that, while she was preparing to appear on Roni's spinoff Ultimate Girls Trip, producers told McSweeney that she would be able to go to AA during the shoot, but changed their minds once they were on location. Lyman wrote her request to attend an AA meeting could have been accommodated without unreasonable hardship or expense. Both sides would now begin demanding each other's private records, texts, and emails that will request under oath interviews. McSweeney's attorney, Gary Edelman of Edelman Matz, told Page Six, "We thank the judge for his care in his 100-page decision that kept the majority of the major claims against the defendants and continues to give full life to Leah's lawsuit and another step closer to holding the defendants accountable." He added, "While we disagree with his findings on the minor claims and will certainly be filing an amended complaint to address his questions, this decision is not a scorecard. It was an affirmation that there are serious claims and that they will proceed in court." So McSweeney appeared on the show from 2020 to 2023. Bravo has yet to comment on the situation, but what could they say? Because they're probably guilty. I don't know if Andy Cohen was aware, but for the most part, a lot of the way that y'all be doing things behind the scenes, y'all be some messy as producers. I understand that y'all got a job to do and you want to get like a reaction out of people, but to sit up in here and like dangle someone's sobriety in their face like a carrot and just have no regard or respect for the fact of their personal issues just because you want to get a rise out of them and you want to get them to get emotional just so that way you can get something on a TV show. I just feel like it's just messy and it's tacky. And no shade, I really don't be watching a lot of these reality shows like I used to. When I was younger, I was watching, I was so into the Housewives of Atlanta. I was so into all these other housewife shows. I watched New Jersey because, the Gorgas against the Judices and all that stuff that was going on. And Atlanta, I haven't watched Atlanta in years because it's just not giving me what needs to be given anymore. And now that Kenya ain't there, I damn sure don't give a damn about these broads. And I don't even think Phaedra can save that show. So the only one that I really care about over there on Bravo that I watch is the Beverly Hills Housewives. So yeah, I just feel like the Housewives as a whole has run its course. I feel like a lot of these reality shows have run its course. But yeah, so I say all this to say, I hit the wrong one. What do you guys think of this story? Because I'll definitely be keeping my eye on this story as it develops, and especially like when the whole court trial and stuff starts. I definitely think that Bethany needs to revisit this whole reality reckoning, or somebody need to, because the way that a lot of the talent and the crew and everybody is being overworked and the way they're being treated like crap and stuff on these shows, just so that way y'all can get a moment. I just feel like it's just distasteful. So I definitely want to hear from you all. So let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. He said, "Get me some." I know Shudder needs to drop the price because the content isn't HD or 4K and it's so not warranted. No, it isn't. And a lot of times, a lot of the horror movies they have on there are pretty bad. Like I find better horror movies on Tubi than I do on Shudder. So they're upping their channel to $8.99. And I don't understand because Shudder is a part of AMC Plus. Why aren't they like merging their content all in one? I understand like Shudder is supposed to be horror only, but and they do bring some of their shows over there. Like they've uploaded full seasons of The Walking Dead and their spinoffs and all the other programs that they have over there. So I just don't understand how they run in that damn network. I would get rid of it, but Shudder, I've had it for so long. I just feel like I would have FOMO. So I keep it. Come on, circus emojis. I'm always surprised every time Andy Cohen is mentioned as a you and me both. I still don't believe it. But since this is what you out here saying, we'll just go along with it. Wink, wink. All right. Okay, so now since we still talking about courts and things, let's get into this Drake story. So it looked like Drake's defamation suit against Universal Music Group is kind of falling into Drake's, direction. It seemed like he's getting some things that's going to fall into his favor because it says that a judge in New York ruled that his legal team can dig into or proceed with their discovery process, which I guess means they can look into the contracts on, you know, Kendrick and the whole Not Like Us, because Drake out here is so mad about people thinking he a PDF file that he doesn't like the fact that people around here thinking that. But I'm like, look, people was calling you or kind of looking at you with side eye about alleged dealing of children or being interested in people younger based off of some of the things you've done. I just think that Kendrick just found a way has a way with words that just, it stung a lot harder in that Not Like Us song. But anyway, so according to Variety, they said Drake made some progress in his defamation suit against Universal Music Group over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us after a judge denied Universal's request to stay the discovery process and allowed Drake to proceed in requesting access to documents, including Lamar's contracts with the label. In a pre-trial conference earlier today in New York, and that would be yesterday, Judge Jeanette Vargas ruled in favor of Drake's legal team, stating that they could begin deposing executives and requesting documents. Now, last month, UMG asked the judge to stay all discovery in the case, which included demands for all contracts between Kendrick Lamar and UMG, as well as a compensation and incentives like salaries and bonuses for Interscope CEO John Janik and other executives. That is so nosy. I was like, I don't need you digging up all of my stuff and know what my contracts and those other stuff say. But they said a source close to the case noted to Variety that while the focus of today's hearing was on Drake's discovery, Universal will also be seeking its own discovery regarding the claims made in the initial suit. Now, Michael Gottlieb, Drake's lead attorney and partner at Wilkie, Farr, and Gallagher, celebrated the decision in a statement to Variety and saying, quote, "Now it's time to see what UMG was so desperately trying to hide." But who said they were trying to hide anything? But nobody from Universal has decided to come forward and speak, give, a comment in regards of this story. So I should point that out as well. Now, Universal had entered a letter to say discovery on March 18th, claiming that Drake's first set of discovery requests would cause undue burden and require costly collection and review of large swaths of hard copy and electronic data sets, contracts and agreements, and communications. Among the requested documents were Lamar's contracts with Universal and metrics that determine incentive compensation for Interscope executives over the past 5 years. The company has been on the offensive in the case since it was filed in January, most recently filing a scathing motion last month to dismiss the suit and stating that Drake is only suing because he lost a rap battle. Instead of accepting a loss like the unbothered rap artist he often claims to be, he has sued his own record label in a misguided attempt to salve his wounds. They said also, plaintiff's complaint is utterly without merit and should be dismissed with prejudice. In today's decision, the judge scheduled a hearing on the motion to dismiss for June 30th. So now we got to wait like a whole damn near 3 months. Well, we are in April, a couple of days in. So almost about 3 months ish, give or take. So Drake initially filed the suit against Universal in January, suing the company for defamation and harassment and spreading the false and malicious narrative that he is a PDF file, aka Not Like Us. Drake's legal team said that Universal knew Lamar's lyrics and images in the song's music video were false and dangerous, yet continued to promote it for profit. The suit also accused Universal of colluding with Spotify to falsely inflate streaming services for Not Like Us, a claim that both companies denied. Well, I always said, look, if he's out here trying to make Universal look like Boo Boo the Fool, then universities be like, well, you know what? These same things that you claiming that we use for Kendrick Lamar to go against you because apparently you wanted a piece of the universal pie. I'm guessing that's the rumor, whatever. Now we want to show that, yeah, a lot of times we did kind of help inflate and pull strings and do certain things and sabotage others. But then I guess it would show their hand and make them look guilty in a lot of ways too, which I guess would prove Drake's point. But then I would say that, yeah, the same system you benefited from, now you're getting mad because someone else benefited from it. But if you're going to sit and say something is false and dangerous, what about the stuff you said? You went out and said that Kendrick is a woman beater. And that one of his kids is even his. Like when you saying stuff about that, and Kendrick didn't go in and try to file a lawsuit against you for spewing false accusations, but that PDF thing is what got you the most upset. I look at it as a hit dog Wahala situation, and it's a rap battle. No one in the history of rap battles has ever decided to go forth and file a lawsuit against their label because somebody said something to you that hurt your damn feelings. Because you kept egging him on to come out and be like, yeah, say something, come at me. Whatever the case is, y'all doing all these damn, battle rap songs. And then that one damn song comes out that stings you, because Kendrick did put out a couple, Drake put out a couple. But then when Not Like Us came out, then it's like, oh, now he in his feelings because now people are liking the song. They want to, I guess a lot of these artists, they're so used to controlling the narrative, but they can't actually believe in their heart of hearts that there are literally fans out there that love the song. I like the song. Shit, I was doing my little, even though I'm not from LA, I was doing the Crip Walk when that song came out. So Drake, you doing too damn much. But I say all this to say, look, do your lawsuit. We'll see what happens, and I will definitely keep abreast of this story as it continues to develop. Or we'll hear what happens at the end of June, because that's when the whole trial is supposed to be wrapped up or whatever, I guess. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to the latest, in regards to this court case regarding Drake and Kendrick Lamar? I think I probably said regarding 8 times in that damn sentence. But anyway, nevertheless, I want to hear from y'all. So let me know what you think of this story in the comments down below. Now Miss Aubrey was gagged because her tease was clogged. I mean, look, I guess it better be her. It's best her tease was clogged than her soul, right? Like a soul can clock. Not a soul can clock. Ooh, not a soul can clock. All right, Monica Beverly Hills. All right, y'all. Now let's get into our next story. I was like, why isn't my thing moving? Hold on. Because now this computer is getting on my root now. Okay, I got it. All right, let's get into this Keke Palmer story. Because apparently she is being dragged because she decided to go off and do an interview with Jonathan Majors. Now, I didn't even know about this until I saw it floating around. Did the interview actually happen? I mean, not happen, but did it actually air or something? Because I would have been like, you know what, I might, just because I'm nosy, I might want to give it a gander and check it out. But apparently, yeah, the people's out here mad at her. So yeah, she may be the internet's favorite cousin, but it looks like there's about to be some familial infighting thanks to a rumored new interview with Jonathan Majors. So it hasn't aired, but there was an advertisement about it that I saw on social media. I thought it came out already. So yeah, Keke is facing major backlash at the report surface that Jonathan Majors will be a guest on her podcast. Baby, this is Keke Palmer. The speculation started when Pop Crave posted about the upcoming episode, though neither Palmer nor Majors officially confirmed it. Since the announcement came on April Fool's Day, some questioned its legitimacy, but the episode later appeared on the podcast's official page, seemingly confirming the news. Now, the reaction online was immediate and divided. Some fans didn't see an issue with Majors appearing on the podcast, arguing that anyone who disapproved could simply ignore the episode. And that's kind of like where I am with it. Like, okay, so she interviewed Jonathan Majors. Let her interview Jonathan Majors, just like Joe Rogan interviewed Mel Gibson. I don't like Mel Gibson. Did I go over there and watch Joe Rogan interview Mel Gibson? No. But as a pundit, he has every right to interview Mel Gibson, regardless of how problematic his behind is. Just like Keke Palmer has the right to interview who she wants to interview. You either can sit and watch it or don't. But the fact that y'all want to cancel somebody because they interviewed somebody that you don't like, it's ridiculous. It's the same thing how these, now I'm wondering where the people that were the ones complaining about, remember we did the story about Tenoch Huerta Mejia, where he's getting to reprise his Namor role in Avengers Doomsday, but not Jonathan Majors. I already gave my reasons as to why that's not going to happen. But the thing is, Tenoch has not been found guilty of anything. This is a he said, she said situation. And the ex didn't go push forth with this whole case. So is it guilty until proven innocent? Is this what we doing? We the Minority Report now? So yeah, they said critics also. Well, the reaction online was immediate. Where was it good? Oh yeah, they said others, however, because I had to find my spot. However, were outraged, pointing to Major's recent conviction and questioning why Palmer, who has spoken about her own experience with DV, would offer him a platform. Critics also resurfaced past comments she made defending controversial figures, further fueling the backlash. And I think it was also that she defended R. Kelly back in the day or something or another. Somebody went and brought that up. They also said that, look, social media erupted with heated debates, with many slamming Palmer for aligning herself with majors. Some brought up Michael Bakari Jordan's previous public support of the actor, questioning why celebrities continue to stand by him despite his legal troubles. Because I guess, like, you know what, that's my friend. I'm not going to abandon somebody because of whatever their legal troubles is. They ain't do nothing to me. That's probably the way they thinking. Oh, he didn't put hands on me. I never seen him do it, but that's my friend, so I'm not going to abandon him in his time of need or whatever. And it's the same thing with Megan Good, who allegedly is now his wife. What didn't he reveal that she lost out on work opportunities because of her affiliation with him? So it's just a crazy world out here, the way people treat people once, they've done whatever the things that they've done. Even if you just associate with the person, you're kind of canceled. So yeah, at the same time, they said some people defended her, pointing out that she had apologized for past comments and that the podcast often focuses on discussions around accountability and growth. They also noted that other public figures have been forgiven for their missteps, calling out inconsistencies in how people react to different situations. One person tweeted, they said, right on time, sis. She said, I mean this with no hate, but we do this with Keke every couple years. She surges. We say, OMG, she's so cool. So many damn S's up in here. She surges. We say, OMG, she's so cool, so great. Why don't we do this more? Question mark. Then she does something, hides, and we move on for a while until this happens again. I know for sure we did it with Nope and the BD stuff. BD meaning baby daddy. Then another person said, first Michael B. Jordan coming forward to publicly support him. Now Keke Palmer, a whole DV victim herself, lending her platform to Jonathan Majors, a man with a whole ass record of violence on women. Why are people rallying behind an effing woman abuser? Because, the whole thing about her past with Darius Jackson, but it seems like, look, they've come to a place where they become cordial and they worked it out. Then they brought up her 2018 interview on The Breakfast Club in which she defended R. Kelly and all his debauchery. In an iconic twist, that interview was also the very same one in which she detailed she was sexually intimidated by Trey Songz years prior and made to feel very uncomfortable during a music video shoot that she didn't consent to. So, with all of this, of course, this had people up in arms, and rightfully so. You have a right to be like, okay, sis, like you were so inconsistent in your situation and stuff. Now, do I agree with Keke Palmer having Jonathan Majors on her platform? It's not up to me to decide that. I mean, me personally, I won't be watching it unless people say it's really good, and I might, out of curiosity and because of me being in media, I might want to check it out. But I do hope that in this day and age, she is coming at it from a place of maturity. And it's like, I wasn't the way I was when I was 6 years ago, where I was like 25 and I spoke about, being positively about R. Kelly, which a lot of Black people, particularly a lot of women do. Y'all overlook all the things that R. Kelly did because, but he was a good musician. Oh, he did good songs. And I was like, I can't. Like, I'm not sitting there. I can't support somebody because a lot of times the things he was doing to a lot of them girls, he put that in his music. It's not like you was this character over here with the music and then behind the scenes you was a completely different person. You was intertwining all those worlds. So that's why I can't get 110% behind somebody when they doing that. But I feel like if she comes I think people should probably watch it before they judge. But people be so quick the minute they see a picture, y'all want to start your little, debates and all this other stuff. And rightfully so, you could do that. But I would say, like, if you're curious or whatever the case is, check out the interview first or get the highlights from your favorite blogger who watched it, or get the highlights from somebody with sense and not just being biased, or read whoever watches it, they do an article on it, and then take what you will from that if you don't want to sit and watch through it. But I do feel like if I've done something in my past, I don't want to live there all the rest of my life. I should be allowed to learn from my mistakes, grow from the things that I've done, because I am a human. We're all human beings at the end of the day. And if he has done the work to make himself a better person, then why aren't we applauding that? Why are we just always expecting people to just remain the most horrible human being for the rest of their lives? We should be championing people to take the time to become better as human beings, instead of just throwing them out into, throwing the baby out with the bathwater, I guess is what I would want to say in that term. It's like we should lift people up. There should be a moment where Jonathan Majors is put in the work. He's trying to be a better person. And if Keke Palmer's going to offer him a platform where he could show, like, yeah, I changed. And if Megan Good sees that he's changed, then why we can't accept the change? So I said all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Jonathan Majors and Keke Palmer interviewing him? I haven't seen any clips, but if any pops up, I'll definitely check it out. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. No, I did not see that, because I'm like, if that was the thing, like, sis, you a mess. I don't know what's happening, but Keke is innocent. They coming for Keke. I also think Jonathan Majors is awesome. I would not be surprised. There's no way there's a lot of people get those bodies naturally. So he probably has some help in getting that body to look the way it does in that movie. We're still in cancel culture and other stuff, despite the president being exactly, because it's like y'all let that man get away with everything. All right, y'all. So let's talk about, speaking of Trump, let's talk about his favorite show, The View. Because apparently The View was having a really good first quarter. So shout out to The Rap, who is letting us know how the ratings is doing over there at The View. So, a lot of people be out here. I be seeing in the comments that y'all be sitting there talking about The View is trash. You need to cancel it. Those women don't know what they talking about. And trust and believe, don't get me wrong, I'll be one of the main ones that be up in there talking about that the women don't know what the hell they talking about, especially when it comes to talking about politics. I understand that y'all align yourselves with the corporate stuff. So when you talk about a Luigi Mangione, you don't get some of them up there that just will take the side of the CEO rather than the fact of understanding why he did what he did. Or then every now and again, you'll get somebody up there that sound like, okay, you championing the right thing for the people. And that would be usually Anna with her funny one-liners, or it would be Sunny Hostin. All the other women up there, they just too caught up in the corporate stuff to really understand. I actually think a lot of y'all on there is pro-Israel too and anti-Palestine. But anyway, in addition to me just like bypassing a lot of the ridiculousness, and I don't go to them for their politics. I just watch because the show was entertaining. But I will say this: can y'all cut down on them damn View Your deals? I am so sick of them damn View Your deals. Every time I turn around, the View be doing too much of those. I'm like, I need y'all to cut that down a little bit. But besides my gripes with that, and a lot of times we'll just be up there just rambling about a bunch of nothing. And I'm like, sis, what the hell are you talking about? Apparently, according to the Rap, they said they wrapped up their first quarter of 2025 with a ratings uptick. The ABC program averaged 2.62 million viewers during the first quarter, up 4% from the 2.51 million viewers the show averaged during the same quarter last year, according to Nielsen. Marking the seventh consecutive time The View has grown in total viewing audience of the quarter a year prior. The View also averaged 157,000 viewers among women 18 to 49, up 11% from the same quarter last year. The View saw viewership grow when compared to last quarter among both key female demos, with women 18 to 49 growing by 3% from last quarter viewership of $152,000. Viewership among women 25 to 54 also saw a slight 2% uptick from last quarter to reach 216,000 viewers this quarter. Now, averaging a 1.77 household rating, The View closed out the first quarter as the #1 program among daytime television, talk shows, and the news in both rating and total viewers. Viewership for The View surpassed NBC's Today third hour, which word on the curb was that they talking about Kelly Clarkson. They was going to put her up in there and have her be the co-host to Jenna Bush Hader, which I'm like, how? First of all, she has her own talk show. Why would y'all have her up on there doing that? And then it was a story that came out from the Page Six. I thought about doing it on this show, but I was like, I don't know if people care enough, or even not even people. I even cared enough to just sit and do the whole story, but I'll just bring it up in passing since it kind of falls into this whole. They mentioned the third hour. They were trying to say that Kelly Clarkson is sick and tired of doing a talk show and she want to quit. Like she's over the grueling hours of doing a daytime show, and the reason why she was gone for a couple of weeks because she had a family emergency that her kids come first, and it's just too much. And I'm like, child, y'all should have known what it entails to do a talk show. It is not easy doing a show 5 days a week. I mean, I don't think she's live, so taping a show was a lot different than sitting up here like I'm doing right now. We could just run our mouth live, where it's like, I don't need hair and makeup, I don't have a driver, I don't have a bunch of people putting me together. All I do is open up my laptop, set up my computer, laptop, computer, same shit. Set up my camera, set up my ring light, and just sit up here and run off with the mouth. I don't have a little, thing in my ear that's telling me we go on a commercial break, wrap it up, or whatever the case is. This is a full unfiltered show, which is why I also feel like, yeah, it's cute or whatever that The View is doing what it's doing, but YouTube and all these other places is the place to go. First of all, YouTube surpassed Disney in regard, like Disney Plus, Disney, that whole situation in regards of like, more people are watching YouTube than any other streaming service that we pay for. And the funny thing about YouTube is that it's free. And I think that people are looking for an unfiltered sense of stuff, especially when it comes to politics and pop culture and that sort of thing. And a lot of us are on these social media platforms like a YouTube that's delivering that. I would say we're doing a little better with the money situation in regards of, because I am monetized, but y'all could give us a little more coins, monthly, with the monthly checks. I mean, I do get paid, but I can use a little bump in pay. Just saying. So to wrap all this up, I actually wonder too, since they're bringing up these numbers, how well is it doing on YouTube? Because you actually can watch The View for free on YouTube. What also are the streaming numbers in regards of Hulu? Because you can go and watch The View on Hulu. That's how I watch it. Or sometimes, like I said, you can go on YouTube and watch it, but I don't want to deal with the ads. So since I'm already paying for no ads on Hulu, I'd rather watch that because the show was like, 37 minutes minus the commercials. So it comes out to a full 37 minutes, and I can just be in and out. And a lot of times when they have the View Your Deal, I'm like, I'm not buying it. So I just turn it off. I know my parents love The View. My father does buy stuff off of the View Your Deal because they have a lot of gadgets and stuff they'll have up there. So he does buy things off The View, and then when they have the barcode, if somebody comes out with a book or whatever, he buys a lot of stuff. So my father loves The View. It's not just women that watch the show, men watch it as well. And so I don't understand why they only try to make it seem like because it's 6 women with 6 different points of view that only women watch the show. Men watch the show too, trust and believe. And it's not just homosexuals, because my father is not a homosexual, so he watches it. um, So yeah, they said that The View surpassed the Today Show third hour, which averaged a 1.28 rating and 1.97 million viewers. Today with Jenna and Friends, which averaged a 0.0. So I guess it's the Jenna with Friends thing. I don't know. First of all, how many hours of the Today Show y'all got? Like, there's all these different damn names. Anyway, it said it averaged a 0.86 rating and 1.33 million viewers. And NBC News Today, which averages 0.82 rating and 1.25 million viewers. The View also outpaced viewership for the Faulkner Focus across, I don't know what the hell that is, several key demos in the quarter, with Harris Faulkner bringing in 2.39 million viewers, 91,000 viewers across women 18 to 49, and 127,000 viewers among women 25 to 54, though the Faulkner Focus outpaced The View in total views in January. or viewers. Now, most recently, during the week of March 24th, The View ranked as the #1 most watched daytime network talk show and news program, both in total viewers, where it averaged 2.4 million viewers, and in households, where it averaged a 1.62 rating. The week also saw the show averaging 183,000 viewers among women 25 to 54, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So, it says that, yeah, to the season to date, The View averages 2.6 million viewers, up 5% from last year, and a 1.77 ranking as the #1 show among all daytime talk shows and news programs for the 5th consecutive season. So yeah, so for all y'all running around here to my, yeah, The View needs to be canceled. Oh, nobody cares what these women have to say. Why? Well, look, money talks, and so do ratings. So the show, as long as people tune in to watch, it's not going anywhere. So y'all can sit and continue to send y'all hate. You just be hating from outside the club because you can't even get in the words of Chris Brown. Like, keep hating on the show. I don't understand people that hate watch shows. Like, that could not be me. If I don't like a show, I'm not watching it. If there's a certain talent or whatever that's doing whatever, I'm not paying attention to what they're doing. Now, in regards of me being a part of media, yeah, if it comes up, I'm gonna talk about it, and I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as possible when talking about that person. Because I always try to come from it from a different, even if I was like, I can't stand that B. But in this situation, I agree with them on this. And this is why. Like, I could be nuanced in a situation. I'm not just going to be biased. Maybe that's my Virgo, the Virgo in me. But shout out to y'all, The View. You know, I may not agree on a lot of the stuff. Like, I'll be rolling my eyes at a lot of the stuff that y'all be talking about because y'all politics is very centrist Democrat. And I'm more progressive in a lot of my thinking, and I teeter more towards independent in regards of my politics. And I'm very progressive in a lot of my stuff. Like, I'm very pro-Palestine. I'm very much about that even if I don't like your ass, whatever your political situation is, everybody has a right to health care. Everybody has a right to, you know, live beyond the minimum wage. Like, I believe that everybody should have a right to live their life the way they want to live it. I'm not going to sit out here and say, I should have health care and I should have a lot of money in my bank, but you should struggle. Like, I'm not that type of person. I don't understand people who have that kind of hate in their heart, because I'm not trying to walk around here having a heart attack, Bell's palsy, with a whole side of my face is paralyzed. I ain't got time for that kind of energy. So, congratulations to y'all over there at The View. Y'all got a reason to celebrate, which means this show is going to be around a whole lot longer, as long as people continue to want to see a show like this on their TV screens. What season is this? 28? Yeah, they've been around for a long time. I think, yeah, because I believe The View started in 1997. So we're coming upon 30 years in 2027, and we in 2025. So I think we're in season 28. That's been on for just about as long as Law and Order SVU. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to The View? You know, still up there. You know, it's a longer than 2 series, but the people still love the show. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Robert says, I heard MSNBC and The View are doing better on YouTube and stuff, while Fox News is only doing good on linear TV. Well, yeah, sometimes I will watch some clips of MSNBC, not so much, but I'm usually watching Pondering Politics. I'm usually watching Kyle Kalinske. I'm usually watching Sabby Sab. So I'm usually watching all these other pundits that are on my television. I don't really watch a lot of, like, they even did one with CNN, and they had that lisping queen Van Jones up there talking about that this isn't the way to go in regards of what Jasmine Crockett said about Governor Hot Wheels or something. Nah, that's not the way to go. I said, because y'all want to cuck yourselves to these damn Republicans. Like, y'all are dinos, which I always say Democrats are name only. I don't trust people like a Van Jones, because y'all not here for the cause. And to me, it was cute or whatever that Cory Booker did, a little 24-hour situation. But I'm like, did it change anything politically? Did we get anything passed? It was great political theater. And as long as you cut yourself to Israel, I can't take you seriously. And APAC, I don't trust you. Those video deals are very annoying, but they have to pay for whoopies. Pretty much. And I'm like, yeah, she get paid allegedly $9 million a year to just sit there and look bored. I say bring in a new moderator, or just make Joy the moderator, because Whoopi just there, just like taking up space. And it's no shade. I live for her, and she's an EGOT, she's iconic, but you really don't bring nothing to the show. Different points of view. I can't stand them, to be honest. They're liberal until their corporate overlords tell them to shit. You're right. They're liberal in the sense of the corporate aspect of it all. They're not really interested in progressive change. They're all about fulfilling the status quo as long as it doesn't affect them, because these are rich, centrist Democrats. Today is 5 hours long, 4 hours plus a break for local programming. And then you're talking about the show? Why is it so? See, now this is the problem. Y'all need to come up with some damn original shows. And sidebar, shout out to Kelly and Mark, because I heard they moved out the old situation, the old studio that was over there on by Lincoln Square. Because I remember I went there once when the View was there. They have everything in that building. I wonder if they're gonna move Eyewitness News. So yeah, they moved them down to the building where they do Tamara Hall and all that other stuff. So now they moving everybody down there. At one point they said soon they're gonna move Good Morning America down there. But I think then GMA is moving at the end of the year. But 5 hours long for today, that's too long. I feel like y'all need to start coming up with something new. But linear TV is not interested in giving people like us an opportunity. They feel like, oh yeah, because it's on social media, it's not going to translate to network television. I'm like, yeah, because the way y'all still running things, y'all running things in a way that's outdated. It's kind of like when you had Joe and Mika, long head asses up there trying to talk about YouTube and how popular YouTube is, and saying that the reason why a lot of people like us are on these streaming services or watch a lot of stuff on YouTube is because that's the angry audience. Yeah, because all of us up here are pissed off. No, a lot of us are tired of getting fed lies and BS on linear television. You're not giving people the real news. You're all cucking yourselves to this current president because y'all are afraid of the repercussions. So you're not giving people the real news. There's a lot of things that's going on outside this tariff BS that he's running around with that is happening, and the media is not talking about it. They're focusing on the most frivolous crap. And so people are going to pundits, like I said, like a Kyle Kalinske or like a Hassan Piker and all these other people to get the information, because you people that went to your school and got your journalism degree. Now, I can't stand when people throw their nose like, you know who did that shit and pissed me off? Sonny Hostin. I said, and this is why people don't like your ass. Like, I'm here for smart people. I consider myself highly intelligent. I'm somebody who really read a lot of books. I read, when I was always on punishment, because I did spend a lot of time on punishment as a kid. I read the encyclopedia from cover to cover because I was bored. Like my parents will literally tell you, I read the encyclopedia from cover to cover, and it was like 26 of them, or maybe more than that. I can't remember. But I read encyclopedias and all that stuff. Like, I was a very much a kid that just read a lot of books. I lived in a library, or I always wanted to go to the library and get books and things. But my parents always forced us, yeah, you got to get a book where you can learn something. And then you could also get a book that would be about fantasies and all the other stuff. Like, you can get your little Star Wars book, but you got to get something where you're going to actually gain some knowledge. And so I liked that growing up. And that's what people want. People want somebody who's going to be willing to give. And I realize all of that kind of plays into how I am today. And I realize that where I'm the pusher of information. And that's what people want. People just want somebody to bring them their information. But you know what they say in Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. And I wish a lot of people who are in these powerful positions that are in independent media, because a lot of y'all are not really independent. You can't be independent, Joe Rogan, and you taking millions of dollars from sponsors. That's not independent media. You're a cuck to these people that are paying you millions of dollars to do your show, just to spread misinformation. So, but 5 hours is crazy. Alyssa is a Republican, but she doesn't push back, but she knows. She don't push back because I feel like she's scared of like when Whoopi and them say things. So I was like, yeah, she is kind of like mild in a way. Even though I can't stand her, I kind of do miss the slight rudeness of Nutmeg McCain. Kind of, but I feel like if she came back for 2 days, I'd be like, oh no, get this bitch off my TV. So I don't miss it that much. But yeah, Alyssa does feel it does feel like she kind of doesn't really push, except it be on certain subjects, and I'm like, okay, man, like stop it. But I do feel like she do be giving like little softball. I ditched all the services. I pay YouTube Premium, YouTube and YouTube Music. But you ditch all the services. Isn't $85? Isn't a lot just for that one thing? Yes, rest in peace, Val Kilmer. I was a big fan of Val Kilmer. You know, people talk about a lot of movies. People talk about a lot of movies that he did, but you know, he was my favorite as Matt Mortigan in Willow. That was like one of my favorite movies of Val Kilmer. And yeah, he played Batman and a bunch of other things. He wasn't my favorite Batman. My favorite Batman will always be Michael Keaton in that whole franchise. It'd be Michael Keaton. I like Christian Bale as Batman. The voice that he did as Batman irritates me, but I like Christian Bale as him. But I also liked Ben Affleck as Batman. But like recently, I do like Robert Pattinson. Yeah, Michael Keaton will always be like my top Batman because that was the very first Batman I saw in the movies on the big screen. Oh, which Americans are we talking about? He said, I have Amazon Prime and Prime Video and Spot. I have Amazon Prime and Prime Video. So I use a lot of Amazon. I know we're supposed to be hating on Jeff Bezos, but I can't pull myself away. Look, they just decreased the price of my booty wipes. You know, I get dude wipes. I told her about that because you can't just be wiping your behind out here, but you do a number two with just tissue. Like that is gross. I need something wet back there to kind of like and minty fresh because they smell minty. They just sent me an email talking about yeah they dropping the price. I was like yes because before I was paying like $21. Now they dropped like a couple of dollars, so it's like 18. Still a lot, but it's not as bad. And so yeah, it's like they dropping price on stuff. So I'm not getting rid of that. Wait, did I say that I was? Oh yeah, I said my Virgo was Virgoing. He said yeah. I knew. I said yeah. I'm an Earth sign. E-subscription is priced outside of YouTube's premium. It's all on one platform. Oh, maybe I need to look into that. Cause I'm like, I wouldn't mind paying $80 something for one thing, and it comes with everything attached. Look, we need bundles in this day and age because I'm tired of paying for stuff individually. I mean, I do Disney Plus, Max, and Hulu for one individual price. I'm glad I started checking my money because I was paying for Max twice, and I was like, why am I paying $14.99 for this, and then I'm paying $9 for? I cut that out. Yeah, Sunny was getting, well, I didn't see today's, but she was getting on my nerves because she was on that Dawn Lemon interview. And I was like, yeah, I would rather, because I went to school and I was like, okay, bitch, we know you went to school and got your education. Congratulations, you're smart. You got a degree. But here's the thing there are some people who are school smart, but aren't street smart. And there are people that are street smart who aren't school smart. And then there's people who got a little bit of both. She has the school smarts, and some people think just because they got a degree that makes them better than everybody. And if you smart, you smart. I can debate anybody under the table in a conversation, but don't try to act like you better than me because you got like 5 degrees and I only got 1. Because I can still read you down to the floor and you won't be able to do it. So a degree don't mean shit, except it's just a piece of paper. Because how many people out here got like a bunch of damn degrees and it's not even in the fields in which they're getting a rightful payment in? Which I want my hands, I gotta leave the grades. Well, congratulations. All right, now let's move on with the show. Now that we can end that view rant. Let's talk about this embarrassingness going on from Linkin Park, because child, they out here struggling to sell tickets. But you want to know something? There's a lot of people out here that's like, damn, 2025 is about to be lit in regards of a lot of people touring. Like Kesha just announced she's going to tour. Oh wait, actually, what am I talking about? First of all, Kesha's the next topic, so we're gonna save that for when she comes up. But yeah, there's a lot of people that's gonna be touring this summer. I'm going to be hella busy with all these shows that I'm going to be doing between Madison Square Garden and Citi Field. I'm going to be crazy busy with a lot of these shows. But yeah, so Linkin Park is out here struggling apparently to the point that they were supposed to be performing on September 13th at Dodger Stadium, but now they done downsized to the Intuit Dome. And they said that they've been struggling. It's because they've been struggling to sell tickets. Not they haven't said it, but that's pretty much the word because Dodger Stadium houses 56,000 people. The Intuit Dome houses 18,000. That's like arena size, which they are coming to New York, but they're not doing my job. Thank God, because I was like, I don't want to work Linkin Park. They're going to the Barclays Center. Y'all can go over there. I'm mad that Nine Inch Nails is doing a Barclays Center. I wish Nine Inch Nails was doing them 2 nights at the Garden. I'm like, I don't know why y'all didn't do it there. Actually, I think, damn it, I think the reason why they're not doing it is because Tate McRae is the same damn day. That's probably why. So last week, the group shared on social media Los Angeles, our LA show on 9/13 will now be at Intuit Dome with at JPEG Mafia. What the fuck is that? JPEG Mafia. They said, if you purchased tickets previously, you will be refunded and have first shot at buying tickets at Intuit Dome. Can't wait to see you there. Now, a capture also informed fans South America announcing new dates on the From Zero World Tour 2025 LPU sales begin on March 31st. There was people that was pissed off about this because they said this is not the first time that Linkin Park has set a date somewhere, and then when it gets close to the date, they all of a sudden cancel and they do refunds and resurge it in another place. So people's getting pissed off about this. Like, okay, so why y'all keep running around here doing this mess and playing in our face? So they said another change is that Queens of the Stone Age is no longer going to be performing at this, with them in LA. Now, adding more embarrassment to the ordeal, Linkin Park is also now offering concert goer discounted tickets at $39.50. Now, here's the thing: I may not like Linkin Park because we don't have Chester anymore. That'd be one of the main reasons why I don't care for Linkin Park, but $40 to see Linkin Park, I kind of maybe would want to go see it for that price. Quiet as it's kept, it makes you wonder, why is it that y'all can bring these prices down to this ordeal because y'all so desperate to fulfill seats? But then when it comes down to SeatGeek and Ticketmaster and all these other things that people are getting tickets on, I'm hearing people bitching and moaning about prices. I had one friend that literally was online looking to get tickets for Lady Gaga's Mayhem Ball at Madison Square Garden, which, sidebar, now she has upped the show to 6. It was before, it was like she was doing 3 shows? Oh, she's doing 6 shows at the Garden now, including 2 in New York. So I think she's doing 4 in the month that she's going to be there. Child, I'm wondering how many y'all going to have me work. They're probably going to have me work just about as much as y'all had me work the Olivia Rodrigo show, which I worked, I think, majority of her New York stint, her Garden stint, except one day. I did all the shows, which I wouldn't mind if I would sing Lady Gaga like 5 times. And I know the show. I know the whole show by heart. But it kind of makes me wonder because I'm like, wait, he went on the line, he went on the thing, looked at the tickets, and one of the seats said $3,000. He was like, oh hell no. I was like, just wait till towards the when the show actually starts to get your ticket. But yeah, $3,000 is crazy. So I don't understand, like, when it comes to certain shows, it's like, how come y'all be charging $3,000? Is it because the extravagance of the stage? Like, you're paying for the massive crew, you're paying for a lot of the set design, you're paying for the choreographers and the dancers and all that extra stuff, the bells and whistles that comes with a Lady Gaga concert versus Linkin Park, where it's just a band up there singing, a lot of Chester's greatest hits and some of the songs from their new album that I don't even know if people even like that record. Because I listened to it one good time, I'm like, yeah, this is trying to give us old Linkin Park just with a female lead singer. And I also think maybe the reason why the tickets aren't really selling is because y'all got this Scientologist. She trying to say she not, but the bitch is a damn Scientologist. You got this Scientologist up there singing these songs, and people feel like y'all up there got this new person singing Chester Bennington's song, like it's not giving us the emotional and the pain and stuff. I was actually watching this video to take a little sidebar of Chester Bennington. And it was Joe Hahn and Mike Shinoda were in the back seat, and then you had Chester Bennington sitting with oh my god, the Asian guy that's on The Masked Singer, the comedian. He was sitting on the other side of him, and Chester was trying to teach him how to do like his scream singing. Ken Jeong. And Kim was hitting them notes. I was like, bitch, you better work. And then they started going in and singing, It Starts With One. And that cracked me up. I was like, you know what? I miss Chester. But the fact of the matter was, he was going through the things that he was going through and he couldn't beat his demons. So I miss him. I miss the music. I grew up on Linkin Park. My emotions was going through some things at the time that Linkin Park came around. So I totally resonate with a lot of what Chester was singing, a lot of those songs as, you know, when I was growing up in the 2000s. I was like, when that music come out? 2000s? And look, the first time I ever became aware of Linkin Park was an episode of The Real World. I always tell this story. The episode of The Real World when Mike the Miz Mizanin was on an episode of Real World Back to New York, and he went to a Linkin Park concert. I ain't never heard of Linkin Park, but the minute they showed him at this concert and we started hearing the music, I was like, I'm a fan. And then they broke out on MTV and TRL and all that stuff. So yeah, it says that you can request randomly assigned seats while supplies last. Submit your request by April. Well, it was by yesterday, so y'all never mind. They said April 2nd. Now, some fans in Rio de Janeiro and Porto Alegre are upset by two seemingly nicked shows, and that's what I was referring to earlier. The World Tour will continue on April 26th in Austin, Texas, after kicking off last September in Inglewood, California. It was marked there. It was marked. Chill. Do y'all proofread before y'all hit send? Say it has marked this mark. Right, y'all say it just this marks their first time performing after frontman Chester Bennington unalived himself in 2017. The performance also introduced Bennington's successor Emily Armstrong and drummer Colin Britton. From Zero is also the name of Linkin Park's latest album that's released on November 15th. So I don't even know how well it did. But a lot of people trying to say, oh yeah, it's a struggling economy and all this other stuff. But here's the thing. System of a Down is about to do a world tour and their tickets are selling like gangbusters. When I did the recent tour with Disturbed, they sold out their show. So I just feel like this is a BS excuse. Maybe people aren't really feeling Linkin Park like they had hoped. They thought they were going to really be on the comeback with this girl. Or maybe what they should have did was not coming back as Linkin Park. Like if Mike wanted to come off and do different type of music and come back with a whole new band, then he could have did that. But at the same time, it's like we had our big career. Would you want to like no longer perform those Linkin Park songs? Because that's what they're mostly known for. I mean, look, whatever happened to Fort Minor? Like at one point you was doing Fort Minor. What happened to that? You could have just continued with that. And so, yeah, it kicks off on the 26th of this month at Austin, Texas, and then it wraps up in November 11th in Brasilia, Brazil. So, yeah, they're going to be performing. They're going to be out here touring for a while. So, yes, I definitely want to hear from you guys. So what do you guys think of this story? What do you think is the reason why Linkin Park is struggling to sell these good old tickets out there? I don't know if it's just LA. It could be other places, but they just focusing on their LA date right now. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Why do you think that the band is struggling? Do you think it's those things that I mentioned, or do you think it's just, you know, it's hard out here. There's a lot of competition about to come out and start touring this summer. And people are just being, especially in the way this economy is going, especially with this current administration, people are just being real picky in regards of who they want to go see head out, you know, on tour as we, you know, transition have further into the spring and eventually into the summer. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, let's go on up. So we got comment. But yeah, I read that was. It said adding the girl Scientologist hasn't been good for them. It kind of ruined the band's legacy. Oh no, I love Linkin Park. Oh well, time to buy a ticket. Oh, you said because it's like $40. By the way, Method Man was on the Masked Singer. Was it? Well, you know, I saw Redman the other day when I was working this comedy show. He was the opening act. I was like, Method Man was on the Masked Singer doing what? He raps. He don't sing. Yes, she is a Scientologist. There was a whole controversy around that she was part of the crew of hecklers who was harassing one of the Danny Masterson's accusers, you know, R-word accusers. She was allegedly a part of that whole circle of people. Yes, I love me some Chester Bennington. Should have come back as not Washington Park, or Washington Square Park. We do have that out in Manhattan, over in the West Village. All right, so let's go from one concert that I don't give a good goddamn about to one show that I definitely want to take my behind to, or even work it since I work at the Garden. And let's talk about Kesha, because she about to go out on tour with the Scissor Sisters this year, well, this summer. And the tour is called Tits Out. Now, I was gonna say, you know what, that is absolutely perfect. I've never seen Kesha live. Um, I've seen her perform on TV, but to actually see like this, and then she's got a new album coming out, I'm definitely team Kesha on this. And look, she about to perform at the Garden before Katy Perry, her BFF. So Kesha and Scissor Sisters will host the ultimate summer party on their forthcoming Tits Out tour, scheduled to hit arenas and amphitheaters across North America throughout July and August. The 25-day tour arrives as Kesha prepares for the release of Period, her first album as an independent artist, out on July 4th. Ready for the ride of your life? The tour poster reads. The tour will kick off just before the album release with an upcoming show at West Valley City, Utah on July 11th. The Tits Out tour will make stops at the Kia Forum in LA and Madison Square Garden in New York, plus venues in Phoenix, Dallas, Nashville, Toronto, Virginia Beach, Charlotte, and more. The run, which marks a grand return for Scissor Sisters, who last toured in North America more than a decade ago, is currently scheduled to wrap on August 10th in Tampa, Florida. And I love the idea that Scissor Sisters is going to be a part of this because, well, the only difference is I need animatronic to come back. I know she's busy. I know she has a lot of things going on, but to see my Jake Shears, you know, I love me some Jake Shears. The fact that I get to see Jake Shears up there is going to be awesome. But here's the icing on the cake. When I saw Slater and Rose Gray, bitch, when I tell you, I was like, oh, I'm definitely gonna do what I need to do to work this damn shift. Even if I'm not even scheduled to work it, I'll do a shift swap. I'll do something. I'm like, I'm going to work this. I'm not gonna go in and with the hopes of trying to get put on, because 9 times out of 10, that may not happen. But this is definitely a show that I want to see. First of all, I seen Slater in concert when I was at oh my God, Brooklyn Steel. She was there. I got to see her there. That was a much smaller venue. And that's also where I saw Goldfrapp. So Slater is definitely great live. Hopefully with her joining them on this tour that we have new music coming out from her, because I love her second album. And a lot of the music and stuff was on there. You know, she does kind of like that whole hyper pop electro dance type music. So she's definitely my alley. If you've never heard of Rose Gray, I think she's a British chick, but she does house music. So she's, remember, oh my God, what was her damn name? Um, Damn, I forgot that girl's name. Kaiser. Remember her when she came out with that song Hideaway? That's what Rose Gray reminds me of. But Rose Gray got better songs. Or damn, this is Canadian dance artist that I think her name is Rev, Reve. She's another one that puts out really good music. So seeing the part of that Slater and Rose Gray is gonna be in there, that's gonna be lit. But they do have like little asterisks or whatever on which shows they're gonna do. It doesn't have it on the Garden one, which has me wondering that will they have, because you know with the Garden, it's, I don't know, it's different because everybody's dream is to work the Garden. I cannot tell you how many times we have many artists up there like this was a dream of mine. Like they all have, I kid you not, they all have this speech that is like when they get up there and it's like they can't believe that they're actually performing at the Garden, because the Garden is like, no shade, no shade to any of the other arenas, but it is the creme de la creme of arenas. If you want to work it, you ain't made it until you perform at the Garden, and they all say it. Trust and believe, all of them say it. So I'm wondering if all of them will be performing on that date that we get as the opening act. You have Slater. Well, Rose Gray, I would think, is like the least known. So they probably have Rose Gray come out first. Then you got Slater. Then you have Scissor Sisters. Then you have Kesha. If they did it kind of like that, oh, that would be lit. That means that's going to be a hella early show. Because if you got all these acts on there, they can play well until like 11 o'clock, but this is definitely a show I want to play. But they said this because I want to show you all the I like this picture, by the way. And I think this is Kesha's album cover. And I love the picture of, I mean, first of all, I live for this suit on Jake Shears. It looks like he kind of looks like a Ken doll. And I told her, I remember Jake back when he was a go-go dancer in the East Village. But they said, went on to say, the most political thing we could do right now is love ourselves and love each other. This is what Kesha says in a statement. Americans need to have more safe, consensual sex. I mean, I agree with the consensual sex, but bitch, who likes condoms in this day and age? That's why we have penicillin and other ailments. You know, you get a little something, you just get a shot in the ass and go about your business. Okay, let me stop being graphic. But anyway, so they say our administration is so disembodied and disconnected. I'm going tits out this summer. Well, hopefully you will have your titties out on the stage, or is that not allowed? To bring as much safety, fun, acceptance, love, connection, and celebration to this country because we are just as much the fabric of this free nation as everyone else. We will not be quiet and we will fight through joy. Think it's time to make love, not content. Were you talking about OF content? Love, not anger. Love, not hatred. And love, not war. Kesha is hoping to play matchmaker through her partnership with the dating app Field, that's Feeld, by encouraging fans to wear red. If you are single, horny, and down to flirt, well, child, I will be definitely have my eyes out for who's going to be wearing red because I might try to shoot my shot with something. But then again, if I'm on the clock, I may get in trouble for doing that. So I'll behave myself. So at the Tits Out tour, she also on the prowl herself saying, along the way, I'm looking for a sugar daddy. So if you bring a tall, hot single friend, you get extra animal points. Now, Scissor added, we are stoked to extend our reunion to the US and Canada this summer alongside Kesha. There has always been a bit of anarchy and chaos to both our live shows, and we can't wait to bring that anything can happen energy across North America again. And you want to know something? What I'm hoping with all this mess going on with the Trump administration, I just hope it just wakes up enough artists to feel like, you know what, in the dire times, when it's uncertainty and we're all uncomfortable and things are against us, that this is the time that we'll actually rise up and create some of the best art and kind of push back against the fascism that a lot of our country is trying to push forward with these hypocritical politicians. Like allegedly Mike Johnson being a closeted homosexual and things of that nature. So I'm definitely here for this Tits Out show. I love me some Scissor Sisters. Like I said, I'm still a little disappointed that we can't get animatronic, but I get it that she's busy. I love me some Slater. I love me some Rose Gray. I love Kesha. I'm really looking forward to hearing this new album. So far, the songs like Joyride and that recent one that she has with not Florida, with T-Pain, I'm here for that song. I'm like, oh, this is giving me country vibes, but it got a little dancey type of electronic music kind of thrown in. That's kind of the country music that I'll do. If it kind of falls into the wheelhouse of the type of music I'll listen to it if you want to mix genres. But if you expect me to go full on country, that is not my ministry. But so yeah, I say all this to say I'm definitely excited for this tour, if you can't tell. So I want to hear from y'all. What do you think of this story? Are you guys excited that Miss Kesha is about to take her behind on tour and give us a show? We're going to get them hits that she had with that old nasty madman, Dr. Luke. Oh, sorry, Dr. Puke. And then she's going to give us new music and things of that nature. So I'm excited. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. Let's see. What are the people saying up in the comments? My friend said he was seeing Kylie tomorrow. Wait, he's in New York. Well, I'll be there. I'll be working Kylie show tomorrow and Saturday. So if you see me say, hey, how you doing? My friend Madden. Oh, I know Maddennis. You know, Maddennis is a big Madonna fan. I don't know Maddennis, but I've seen her. Oh, so he saw the Kylie show. I've been avoiding like the videos and all other stuff online because I want to see it like in person. So, you know, I'll let y'all know how it was whenever I can get on this damn thing. I don't know, because tomorrow's gonna be hard to do a show. Saturday I'm doing the Kylie show. Sunday I'm at City Field. So I don't know, probably gonna be like a full 3 days off, and I'll be back on Monday where I'll just give y'all the full rundown of what happened. I was obsessed with Kesha back in the day. Her song "Come On" is one of my I still listen to like the other day when I was not even the other day. It was like a couple of months ago. Wait, back no, it might have been last year because it was hot out. Yeah, because it's been hot, it's been cold for a minute. So it was like hot out. And I remember like I was walking through the village and something told me to put on I put on the Cannibal EP or whatever. Bitch, I was up in there. I am Cannibal. Bitch, I was up in there just getting my life with Kendrick. She had some bops. Like, even though we can't stand Dr. Pugh, she has some songs. And those songs still hold up. I think Kesha is doing Boiler Room tonight in Miami. I think this TikToker was talking about, oh, okay. Well, look, I'm glad she's on her comeback. And you know what? Her being independent, it seems like people are here for her. And even if, her being independent, she does have a built-in audience. So those fans will come out and support. And those even who are going to go to the show at Madison Square Garden, I would say, like, that's still a way for people who aren't familiar with her music to get into her music and all the other bands, especially Scissor Sisters. Because I always liked Scissor Sisters. I grew up listening to their music. They came up during the whole Electroclash era. So, which I'm glad is, and that sound is kind of sort of making a comeback, but it feels like it's a more mature. You talking about, Kosheen, who did Hide You? That's still my song. I saw them in 2002. I never seen them live, but I do like Kosheen. Chapel Monk grown, true origins, and conservative government family is slowly unraveling her faux liberal lesbian cosplay. Oh yeah, I saw that story. I think Felix sent that to me also. There was a bunch of people that was sending me this stuff about Miss Chapel Grown, where they saying that she's a fraud. I'm like, no, she's a fraud. I'm like, damn, you wrote a whole article. Like, the thing with Robert, he was writing whole citations. You said Chapel Roan has been revealing her true colors for a while now, and at this point, it's hard to call it anything but a pattern. So here's my take because it's deeper than just pop girl drama. Let's start with the obvious. She built her platform on queer aesthetics, drag culture, and a very curated image of allyship. She called herself the drag pop princess and wrapped herself in rainbow flags and leftist vibes to gain traction. But the more visibility she gets, the more it feels like the politics were just a costume. For context, she grew up in a rich white conservative Christian household in Missouri. Her uncle was GOP Representative Darren Chappell, who introduced multiple anti-trans bills and anti-abortion legislation in Missouri. Despite this, she never publicly addressed her connection to those politics or used her platform to speak out against him. Silence, especially when you benefit from queer support, isn't neutral; it's a choice. Now, fast forward to her recent high low with Emrata podcast appearance, where she said something a friend told her in confidence: all moms are miserable. Like, it was a cute soundbite, but what really stuck out was her follow-up. I don't have the capacity to be super politically educated right now. I'm a pop star. Well, then, bitch, stop speaking on things if you don't have the capacity to speak on it. That's why I say if you don't have the wherewithal, or the wherewithal, or the platform or the mental bandwidth to even speak on something that has to do with politics or whatever the case is, don't speak on it. Like, you don't have to. Everybody doesn't put somebody's gun in their head and ask them, okay, so what do you think about this political thing or that political thing? If you want to take it upon yourself like a Madonna to speak on stuff, but we know that's what she does because Madonna's been doing that since, for the duration of a 40 plus year career, then we don't get all upset about it. Only people on the outside get mad. We fans are used to it. But if you don't feel like in your heart of hearts you need to come out and speak about politics, then shut the fuck up and just make and sing Pink Pony Club until you get tired of singing it. So they say, and this is where it all clicks. The way she talks about being overwhelmed by fame, calling fans weird or creepy for appreciating her, expressing resentment about being recognized, saying she's just a normal girl, is the same narrative she falls back on when asked to take accountability. She uses the weight of her success as a shield, flipping the script from rising star built on queer love and drag support to please don't expect me to know what I'm talking about. I'm too famous now. Painting it all as folks crossing a boundary when it's beyond that now. You can't say or do something when you're questioned. Say it crosses a boundary. That's trying to run from accountability. You can't have it both ways. You don't get to center your entire rise on a community and cause then treat that cause like homework you don't have time for once the check clears. Her condescending tone and immediate defensiveness then criticized just adds to everything. She's also taken cheap shots at the Biden administration, including mispronouncing Kamala Harris's name on stage and saying Kamala doesn't do anything for me, while simultaneously doing whole drag style intros to teach people how to pronounce her name right. Oh, this is shady. And yet again, no comment about Trump, even though her uncle's policies align with that administration. Funny how that works. And clearly, she wants to be the next Lady Gaga, but Gaga didn't just borrow the look. Gaga met with presidents. She showed up for protests. She stood by her values, even when it wasn't convenient. Chapel wants the glitter and glam, but not the weight of the message. Well, that I can agree with. And to be clear, this isn't about canceling anybody. It's about recognizing the disconnect between image and integrity. If you're going to wear the flag, stand behind it. Otherwise, it's just marketing. That's absolutely true as well. You can be part of the community and still not be an ally to it. That part, we talk about that. How many times we talk about that on this show? Look up Blair White. Who the fuck is that? And how she goes against the community and votes against it, even though she is a trans woman. She ain't the only damn one. Bruce Jenner do the shit too. And I know y'all get mad when I use male pronouns when I'm talking about that old trash box. But fuck her. She ain't no real ally. Y'all act like you don't have reasoning skills. I have multiple people who went to school with Chapel that have given me this information about her. She bullied people in school and uses her fans to keep people that speak about her silent. She will keep doing wrong, and none of you will ever hold her accountable because you've fallen for her fake persona and performative activism. Ask her why she's still close with Jason Aldean. Well, goddamn. Y'all really went in and let have on that poor girl. Well, she ain't that damn poor because they said she rich. She got a rich family background. Well, that's on that. I want to hear y'all thoughts. Add it in the comments as I go through them. Also, there was, I remember Io. Remember that song? Me, Amore, don't you know? That was Io. And Ian Von, you want to know something? Why are you bringing this up? Because yesterday, I kid you not, I was in the gym and I was listening to trance music. I don't know why all of a sudden trance music was like in my wheelhouse yesterday. But yesterday when I was at the gym, I was on the bike and I'm sitting there listening to like Alice DJ and Ian Von Dahl and Castles in the Sky. And I didn't get to Io, but I was just listening to, and then remember September? And there was another group too that I forgot what the name was, but I'm sure if I look in my library, because yesterday I had FKA Twigs Drums of Death on repeat. I don't know why I was obsessed with that damn song. Lasgo, remember her? So it was like I was listening to a lot of trance music. I think because trance music is starting to make a comeback. She wasn't afraid to criticize Biden and refused to endorse Kamala or Trump, but isn't critical of Trump. Check your inbox. Well, I already read the article. Damn, Chapel Roan, devil's in the details, I guess. Okay. Like, you a fraud, girl. I remember I told you about the interview in the beginning of a show last week, but I purposely left the messy parts out because I know y'all don't like what? Who said I don't like Chapel Roan? I like some of her music. I just feel like sometimes she comes across as a hypocrite. And like you say one thing, but then you expect something else. It always felt like she was contradicting herself in a lot of ways. That just irritated me. That's why we came up with calling her Chapel Moan, because she was always bitching about something. So Chapel wants to be a drag queen, but not act like one besides the Halloween costume. That's what it feels like. It's cosplay to her. The interview did reveal that she was a popular girl in school who dated popular guys before realizing she was a homosexual. Her backstory is definitely interesting. So when she woke up one day and was like, I want to eat kitty cat. Justin Bieber. Yeah, she does, because Dula Peep, we don't know nothing about her. Although I will say this, what was that event that she did when she performed at this opera house and they had like this big orchestra and stuff? I think she should do an album like that. Like her voice and everything, and had like 10 damn backup singers and a whole orchestra and stuff. I liked her singing on that. I was like, okay, Dula, I see you. Oh, Justin Bieber's a hot ass mess. I would not be surprised if that boy unalived himself on a live. Something just wrong with him. He needs Jesus, but no. Because probably the person he worships was why he a best now. And then try to throw subliminals they were saying at Miss Selena Gomez, where he compared her to Gollum from Lord of the Rings when you talk about somebody getting engaged. I saw them damn pictures. Yeah, that. Dula Peep live at Royal Albert Hall. I need the whole thing. I don't want no clip. I want to see the whole show. So I need that. I need them to put that out on YouTube or somewhere. All right, y'all. So we have about 3 more topics left in today's show. So before we get to those 3 topics, if you have not already, please hit that like button and that subscribe button if you're new. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll also be putting in timestamps once the live stream is over so that way you can just follow along and cut right to the topics that we talk about instead of going through my usual online banter that I do with the people that watch the live. All right, so now without further ado, let's get into this drag race news because word on the curb is we getting Drag Race France. I don't know why I wasn't thinking about that. Like we've been hearing about UK versus the world coming out soon. We have Drag Race about to wrap up in 3 more weeks. We have I think another season of Drag Race UK. But I wasn't thinking, and I was when I thought we was getting a regular France season. Well, apparently, according to the word on the curb, we getting all stars of Drag Race France. So the big wheel keeps on turning, and Proud Mary keeps on burning. As the Drag Race universe keeps on expanding, along with the recently announced Drag Race Slaasian Royale, which is going to be a Asian-based versus the world type show, which I'm excited for. The soon to be released Unveiled All Stars 10, the Near to Climax Season 17. And now we got another franchise coming because, yeah, it's been a little dry, no shade, over there at WoW. So I'm like, yo, it's that time. We definitely need some of the girls. We need some shows to get back up on there so I can watch it because I don't watch a lot of the international shows, but France is definitely the ones that I watch. Now, Drag Race France All Stars was confirmed in late 2024 and will see former Drag Race competitor Nikki Doll take time out of her schedule in Raging Bigots and performing on the global stage to host returning queens from the French spinoff of their second or third shot at Snatch the Crown. But now here's the thing, because shout out to you, Nikki Doll. I do live for her. But I'm sitting there like, and it goes to show that, yeah, just because I didn't really place high in regard to the Drag Race fandom, I'm hosting one of the spinoffs now. And I do like Drag Race Fran. So I'm excited to see who they have up on there. And I'm like, isn't that a little too soon for them to be doing an all-star season when we've only got 3 seasons of Drag Race Friends, right? Like, I feel like it's a little too early. But what do I know? Because they're doing it, whether I want it or not. So as with any all-star season, the drag detectives of the internet have noticed which queens disappeared from social media and in-person gigs at the same time, indicating a filming period for the spinoff. The list is based purely on speculation, and the cast has not yet been confirmed by World of Wonder or Drag Race France Network France 2. But without further ado, here are 10 queens rumored to have filmed for the Francophone All Stars. So one of the girls that we have, where you could get a sneak peek with the 3 that I put up here. So the first one we have is Ellipse, who came in 6th place on season 1. So one of 2 Miss Congenialities rumored to be on Drag Race France All Stars. Season 1 Ellipse is rumored to be back again. Now Ellipse didn't have a challenge win, but charmed the cast and viewers with her polished drag. But nice doesn't always win the crown. So that's one of the girls. Now, the next one that we have is Cam Hugh, the fan favorite of the first season of Drag Race, where she placed 7th, and with a challenge win for a ball under her wig. Fans are set to be very pleased if Cam Hugh does indeed return for All Stars. Now, Cam was eliminated by La Big Bertha after the Snatch game. We wonder whether the pair will ever be on the same cast again. So, will they? Looks like, according to the team, they will be, because La Big Bertha is back. Back again, where she placed in 5th. So, funny enough, if you had Cam Hugh, 2 episodes later, the person that eliminated her ended up getting eliminated. So La Big Bertha just missed out on the top 4 of season 1 after landing at the bottom on this penultimate episode and being sent home by Lolita Banana. Who Lolita Banana, is she still part of Drag Race Mexico? I don't know. I've never really, I mean, I watched a little bit with Valentina, but I didn't stay with it after season 1. Now, Bertha didn't win a challenge and has been a bit of a roller coaster of a track record with 2 low placements, 2 high ones, and 2 lip syncs. So, shout out to her. Now, the next queen that we have coming on is Magnetica, which I actually like this look here, who was on season 3 and placed 9th. Now, the first of only 2 season 3 girls to maybe be on Drag Race also as friends, and also the girl with the lowest placement on her original season is Magentica. I said Magnetica. Wait, is it Magnetica or is it Magentica? Because they put it 2 different ways. This comes from Pink News, by the way. They have in the headline Magnetica, and then they spelled it Magentica. Regardless of each way, they both do sound pretty cool, like pretty cool drag. Magnetica, Magentica. Now we'll go with Magnetica, because I think there was a typo. So anyway, so it says Magnetica's fresh drag perspective immediately made her stand out from the cast, and she was high in this season's premiere episode, but a fumble in the following episode's talent show sent her au revoir. Well, that probably makes sense as why I don't remember her, because why I can remember her name was Magnetica or Magentica, because I don't remember her from that season. And there's been a lot of these damn shows, so it is hard to try to look. RuPaul need a damn earpiece in his ear to remember half these hoes that be up on there. And you would be surprised how long it took me to memorize these bras that was on season 17. So I totally get it. It's hard to try to keep track of all these girls, especially if you don't stand out. Now let's move on. Let's talk about Miss Mami Wata, who was from season 2. Now, one of the season 2's most charismatic queens, Mami Wata, made it all the way to the finale alongside Punani, just losing out on lip syncing for the crown. First of all, anybody who named themselves Punani as a drag name, you get, I bow to you, because I live for days where y'all call yourselves, especially after somebody's anatomy. Now, Mommy never won a challenge, so she's sure to have a fire under her heels upon a rumored workroom return. Now, the next queen that we're going to talk about is Miss Misty Phoenix, who was on season 3 and placed 5th. Now, the second season 3 girl to return for Drag Race France All-Stars, Misty Phoenix, is rising from the ashes like a Phoenix. Now, Misty placed 5th on her season and never actually snatched the challenge win, despite being placed high a bunch of times by the judges. Now, could All-Stars return and see her finally get a victory? Well, there's only one way to find out whenever this season airs. Now, let's go and bring up Miss Moon, who was on season 2 and placed 7th. Now, season 2's Miss Congeniality Moon voluntarily left the competition during episode 6 to focus on her mental health. So when she went and did that, the good thing is hopefully she's back and she's more confident and she's got her mental situation under control, because I really thought Moon was a force to be reckoned with during her season. So I'm glad that she went away, and we'll see if she happens to be a part of this cast and of All Stars, and if she comes on, we'll see if she definitely is showing like, you know what, that time off definitely helped me, get my shit together. Now let's talk about the Peach, who originally placed 7th on Drag Race France's second season, winning a challenge before her elimination, but she returned to episode 7 only to immediately be eliminated again in the following challenge. Now, Peach's unique drag style gained her a heap of praise from the judges and fans alike, a worthy candidate for an All-Stars return. Now, speaking of Miss Punani, yes, honey, it looked like Miss Punani is on the show. She's from season 2. Now, just missing out on season 2's top 2 alongside Mami Wata, Punani ended up 3rd/4th with 1 challenge win for the Snatch Game. Now, with 4 season 2 girls in the cast, it's sure to be a reunion to remember, and we'll just have to see which one flourishes. Now, I do believe there was this. Is this okay? So this is our last one, and that goes to the Muse. I'm like, so now it's gonna act up, because I know when you put too many pictures in here, it doesn't want to do what needs to be done. in regards to that. So now I gotta try to fix the situation. Okay, I got it now. Or maybe I don't. I'll just have to leave it like that. Because some of the muse don't want to, apparently, she don't want to play along. So, the rumored Drag Race France All Stars queen with most international recognition due to a turn on the very fair and not rigged global, not very, but not rigged. Yeah, one would beg to differ. Global All Stars. So the Muse is rumored to be on her way to becoming the spinoff's Jujubee with her with her third return. Now, Soa placed as a runner-up on season 1 of Drag Race France before finishing in ninth as the country's representative of Global All Stars. Will she live up to her original track record this time? Only time will tell. Well, maybe there will be a less of a bias now that she is rumored to be part of Drag Race France, whereas when she was on the season and RuPaul didn't really deal with her type, I do feel like the Global All Stars, there was a lot of bias in that whole situation, how they set up. I hated that damn season. So look, if y'all do bring that show back, I really hope y'all do it justice. But in addition to all this, I don't know. These queens sound relatively interesting. I like Drag Race France. Like out of all the international shows, that is one of the shows that I watch. I watch that one, and I also watch Drag Race España. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing what they're going to bring in regards to the show. So I'll definitely be checking it out whenever it airs, but that will probably be within the next couple of months, maybe a month or two. But we'll see whenever they decide to drop the trailer over there on World of Wonder or Wow Presents Plus. So I definitely want to hear from you all. What do you guys think of this story? Do you think that these are the official cast of Drag Race France All Stars? Are you actually satisfied with these lists of queens that were named, or who did you expect to be a part of the cast that was not mentioned? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Oh yeah, I read that one right. It looks like the Beebs relapse, and lots of people are saying it's easy. Well, yeah, he definitely looks like he's on that ish. But I'm like, damn, well, yeah, he does. He definitely gives Methodist teas. I mean, after all, he is a little skinny white boy. You know, that's that heavy shit that they go towards. The VMA's whole retaining its namesake. Wait, what? Hold on. Let's see. Let's see what's going on. The VMAs is moving. 2025. Hold on. Let's look this up. Oh, yeah, this came out 4 hours ago. Let's pull this story up. Let's make this a breaking news story. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Here we go, here we go. Shout out to Variety for the team. Can't wait for The Last of Us, by the way, whenever that comes out. And then I'll get back to y'all story. All right, let's get into it, yeah. So they said breaking news, bitch. Apparently the VMAs is moving to CBS. But do people care? Okay, let's pull up the story so that way y'all can see it as I read it, because this is literally breaking news, and this is the first time that we all go. Let's just read it as a class. So it says, okay, let me close this. The MTV VMAs, long seen on MTV and its sister cable outlets without a live broadcast component, will air on CBS for the first time in 2025. The show will air on CBS and be simulcast on MTV, as the announcement puts it, from the UBS Arena. Oh, so they're going back there because they were there last year. On September 7th at 8 to 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 to 8 p.m. Pacific Time, live across time zones. The special will also be available for live viewing on Paramount Plus. Well, I figured that was going to be it, because the minute they mentioned it's going to be live on CBS, I'm like, yeah, so that means you can actually watch it live over there on Paramount Plus. And the shift is in line with other moves made by the networks recently, like the CMT Music Awards going out live for the first time at CBS in 2024 instead of CMT itself. But we don't care about country music. I mean, maybe some of y'all do, but I don't. Maybe I'll say that. But yeah, okay. Well, look, hopefully the VMAs will be interesting this year, because, I mean, actually last year's wasn't bad. So I'll give them that. MTV VMAs wasn't bad last year. I actually liked it for what it was. But them airing for the first time on CBS, I guess that's interesting. First of all, it's free TV, and I guess they want those ratings. But you know what? And then what we'll be doing is when it airs in September 7th, then that'll be the time we'll talk about it, and then we'll see how well the ratings does over there. But at this point, it's like, do people even care about the VMAs anymore? Like, quiet as it's kept, y'all ain't played music videos in like 2 decades. Since 2008. I mean, okay, well, kudos to y'all. So, wait, hold on, let me close this. So yeah, if y'all care, let us know down in the comments. No one watches MTV anymore. Global All Stars 2 should be an international winter season, maybe even a whole season. That'll be interesting. Wait, what do you mean by hosts? That you want all the hosts to compete? So you have Nikki Doll and Pagina Heels and Brooklyn Heights and all of them competing. So I guess there's no reason for the Drag Race girls to go this year and sit in the audience. Yeah, because they do that every year. It's like, well, anybody attached to Viacom, because CBS is part of Viacom, then you always get an invite. It's like they were always like that. Whenever the Real World had a season, they all got to go to the VMAs. Any show that's affiliated, they go to the VMAs. So they'll probably still go. The move to CBS is better because now I could watch it on an actual TV. Last year I watched it on. Oh yeah, and I think that was another thing too that people were kind of annoyed with. It's like a lot of us don't have MTV. How can we watch it? And I'm like, put it on Paramount Plus. I don't understand why CBS has or Paramount hasn't figured out. You have a streaming service. Put it to use. Stop only thinking that the only thing that should go up there is whatever show created by Taylor Sheridan. Like really go and create or post stuff from your Viacom library. Put it up on the streaming service. I don't understand why it's so hard. Like why aren't like season 17 of Drag Race? Why the hell is it not on Paramount Plus? A lot of people don't have uh cable. A lot of people don't have a way to watch MTV. The way I watch MTV, I have Philo. So that's how I watch Drag Race. I'm not going to a bar every week and spending money on liquor while I watch Drag Race. And because I want to hear everything. The only time you'll see me do Drag Race and where I have to deal with an audience is if it's for media stuff, like when I did the premiere. It said this is also another step closer to Drag Race movement. You want to know something? I would actually love if they did that. Could you imagine if Drag Race started coming on CBS? They'd be like, MTV is no more. Now we're moving everything to CBS. The challenge will probably move to CBS first, and they'll see what happens. Actually, the challenge should move to CBS because if y'all got the Amazing Race and all that other stuff over there, why not move the challenge? I love the challenge, so why not put that on there? Because I do feel like a lot of their program is going to move over there. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with Jersey Shore Family Vacation. I don't know what's going to happen with Teen Mom. I don't think that's the demographic. Or maybe they're trying to mix it up because CBS is kind of affiliated with old people. Like my parents love CBS. They watch the NCISs and the FBIs and all that stuff. So there's a rumor that All Stars 10 is going back to MTV since the Challenge All Stars went back. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They might be taking it off of regular television. I mean, they might be taking it off of Paramount Plus. If they do, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I mean, I'll just record All Stars on Philo and watch it that way. It's more reason for me to be putting Philo to use. Because there's things I watch on there too. Like they have AMC. I watch the Walking Dead spinoffs and stuff. That's on there. And the AMC channel. I don't have AMC Plus. I'm like, it comes with the Philo, so I'll just pay for that. But I would not be surprised if they do make the announcement that All Stars is going to go to the streaming service. I just don't understand why that they just don't air it simultaneously and just put it on. Just like the next day you get it on Paramount Plus. I just don't understand who's doing the deals over there. Not sure how likely the CBS Drag Race move will happen in the Trump era, but I'm optimistic. Yeah, and if a lot of you homosexual haters don't care about Drag Race, don't watch the show. Y'all don't watch it when it's on MTV. Why do y'all care that it's on CBS? And I have to change the channel and this is on here. Okay, but you have a remote control. It works when you press the button, you point at the TV, You have the power. But people got to get on social media and bitch for the sake of bitching. But yeah, I would not be surprised if they put Drag Race All Stars on MTV. All right, now speaking of Drag Race, let's get into this news about Bob the Drag Queen, who's got all the reason to celebrate because Miss Mama is now, in addition to coming out with purse first, walking in the room purse first, and then over there just like being the most memorable part of the traders. That's no shade, but just true tea. And now she could add book author to her resume, which I need to get this book. And the next time I go out and I see Miss Bob, I'm gonna have her autograph it. So I definitely want to go put money in her pocket. Like I don't want to ask and get stuff for free. I'll go out and actually buy the book. I think I'll just get it off Amazon. But anyway, so let's give a huge congratulations to Bob the Drag Queen, who can now add New York Times bestseller to their resume for her new novel, Harriet Tubman Live in Concert. Now, winning RuPaul's Drag Race wasn't enough. Now, hosting the hugely successful sibling rivalry podcast with bestie and fellow champ Monet Exchange, who looks fabulous, by the way. She is snatched. Her working with Monet, that wasn't enough. Murdering some housewives on the Traders wasn't enough. Even touring with Madonna, yeah, the Madonna, wasn't enough because now Bob the Drag Queen is now a New York Times bestselling author, too. Harriet Tubman Live in Concert follows the legendary abolitionist and anti-slavery activist after she comes back to life in the 21st century and enlists the help of several familiar faces to continue her work via a hip-hop album, and at the time of publishing is sitting pretty among the prestigious list of bestsellers from the New York Times. Taking to Twitter with the new handle New York Times bestselling author, Bob thanked her fans and readers, saying she was literally sobbing at the news. Now, of course, y'all know I got her tweet up, so let's go to it. She said, "Y'all, I'm literally sobbing right now. It took 5 long years to make it here. When I started this journey, I didn't even have this goal in mind. I just wanted to write the kind of book that I would want to read. I've always wanted to create the kind of art that I would want to consume, and I hope that there would be people who think like me. Thank you, everyone, or thank you to everyone who got the book and everyone who posted about it. Thank you to everybody on the Sibling Rivalry Patreon for your early support and feedback. Most of all, a huge thanks to my mom. Ma, this book is dedicated to you. It's never too late to join the club. Her mother passed away around the time when I think she was about to go on the Confessions tour. So, not Confessions tour, the Celebration tour. I don't know, there's a lot of C's up in there. Confessions tour about 20 some odd years ago, and nobody didn't know who the hell Bob was. So yeah, it was the Celebration tour. But yeah, so congratulations, Bob. And got a bunch of her celebrity friends to give their, notes on it and their accolades and tip their hats. And then Whoopi Goldberg's, state tipped her dreads. So Harriet Tubman Live in Concert is magnificent. I want to send to the folks who do the Nobel Prize for Literature. I don't know them, but I want them to read this. This is what Whoopi Goldberg said. An emotional exploration of religion, external and internalized homophobia, the pressure of progressive Black liberation, and the importance of revisiting the past. This is from New York Magazine. Another person, Karamo, said this. He said, "Your book is a masterpiece. OMG, a literal laugh out loud to real moments of reflection that I have. It's brilliant. Congrats." And then Gail King said, "Bob, you did it very well." Publishers Weekly said it's a knockout. And then the last said most anticipated LGBTQ plus books of 2025 by Pride, best new books of spring 2025 by Bustle, most anticipated books of 2025 by LitHub, biggest books of March by Book Riot, and most anticipated books of March by Goodreads. And you want to know something? I haven't read the book yet. I definitely want to get my hands on it. I mean, I've been hearing a lot about it, and I kind of been like not as enthused about going out buying books, but I definitely want to go out and get this book and support. A, because it's Bob, and B, this is like something that I feel like is fairly important that we need to just give attention to. But the one thing I will say about Bob, if this has the ability, because basically like the whole idea, it does read like, why not take this and also like go the Alaska Thunderfuck route and develop it into an off-Broadway play, because or off-Broadway show, because she has Drag the Musical, which I absolutely love. If you have a chance, definitely go see Drag the Musical. I think it wraps up this month. Like after it's, after it wraps up, that's it. You're not going to be able to see it anymore. So if you get a chance, and if you're in New York or you happen to be coming to New York in the next couple of weeks, definitely go and check out Drag the Musical. I think that Bob should do the same thing. Maybe pick her brain, or I'm sure you know a lot of people in the business. Use it as an opportunity to turn Harriet Tubman live in concert into an off-Broadway play. I definitely think that would be a cool thing to see. I definitely think that this will get a lot of queer people of color, especially to come to see this type of show, because we need more interesting literary voices out there. I just hope that Trump and them is just too stupid to even want to consider banning it, because whenever it comes to whenever you want to educate people, the first thing they want to do is try to ban books. They did it to Toni Morrison. They've done it to Alex Haley. Went after Alice Walker. They've done it to so many people in regards to books. So I hope this doesn't happen for Bob. But what I do want is that this book to be extremely successful. So I would definitely get my hands on this book. I definitely want to read it. And much success to you, Mama. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to Bob the Drag Queen is now a New York Times bestseller? It's a long time coming, and it's well deserved, because you come a long way from season 9 of RuPaul's Drag Race. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. Now let's get into our final topic, and let's talk about Miss T.S. Madison, who, has a reason to celebrate, because, in honor of Trans Day of Visibility, the Atlanta community is celebrating the grand opening of T.S. Madison's starter house, which, is in good old Atlanta. So, I say Atlanta on purpose. I know it's Atlanta. So, let me pull that up, that good old picture, if it just stop blurring. Thank you. And so, it's a new sisterhood alliance for freedom and equality, which stands for SAFE, actually re-entry home for formerly incarcerated transgender women. So the Trans Advocate has partnered with NASM, NAESM, a historic Black HIV/AIDS organization, to launch a groundbreaking housing initiative aimed at supporting Black trans women engaged in sex work. Now, located in T.S. Madison's former residence, the facility offers Black trans individuals access to safe housing, gender-affirming healthcare, economic opportunities, and holistic support. The grand opening stirred deep emotions for the RuPaul's Drag Race judge, saying, quote, "This morning I was having withdrawals because this is a big thing. Like, this is my house. I'm living my house. I'm giving my house to the community. That means people are going to be transitioning in and out and in and out of this house. I built a legacy here, but I'm still attached to this house. These are girls that are disenfranchised. These are girls that are homeless. These are girls that are trying to find another way in their life." So, she also went on to say the following. They said the T.S. Madison Starter House is part of a New Way of Life Safe Housing Network, a global coalition of over 30 organizations focused on providing reentry support for women who have been incarcerated. Now, founded in 1988, the Safe Housing Network aims to reduce incarceration rates by the U.S. by offering safe housing, assisting individuals in healing from the trauma of their experiences, and empowering them to take a leadership role in the movement to end mass incarceration. Now, Dominique Morgan, the executive director of the project, emphasized the importance of community support, saying, quote, "I think many of us feel the fear of what's happening in this climate, and so many folks feel like, oh my goodness, are we going to make it?" And what today really symbolizes for me is that we have answers happening all over the place, and that we have power to decide how we show up for each other. The facility will serve as a vital stepping stone for women, providing safe, affirming housing and prioritizes dignity and stability. To learn more and to make a donation to the project, you could actually go visit the official page for the T.S. Madison Starter House, which is, the link is on my website, chrisavalon.com. So if you ever want to check that out, or you can probably Google T.S. Madison Starter House. I have to say, you know what? This is an amazing thing, because I feel like one of the things I always like about celebrities, and not everybody has to do it, but it's like, when you have a place and a platform, you feel like you want to pay it forward and you want to give back to the very community that has always been there for you and lifted you up. Because when you look at T.S. Madison is someone who is aspirational. And just because she's trans, that doesn't mean that anybody can't look up to her. I'm not a trans woman or man. And I look up to T.S. Madison. She is aspirational. She is someone who is unapologetically herself, unfiltered, like me. Like, it's hard for me to do a show and not drop a curse word. It's just impossible. But because it's just, I just go based off of my feelings and emotion. And I can't sit up here and put guardrails over his mouth. Maybe unless I was getting paid a lot of money and I was on network TV, I would do it because I have to. Or you could just bleep me. But for the most part, I love the fact that T.S. Madison is out here being, authentically herself, flaws and all, showing that she's not perfect, that she acts, she does her music, she's doing hosting gigs, she's doing her Fag Talk show around the United States of America with Craig Stewart. She's also on RuPaul's Drag Race. She's, and like I said, she acts here and there. She has a lot of celebrity friends. And now with all this success that she built off of herself, just being unapologetic with herself, doing a song with Beyonce and just her being herself, just from that video, 22 inches of weave on Vine. And look where she is today. She's rich and successful. That now she's at a place where it's just like, I can be unapologetic. I've gotten here because I'm unapologetically me. So now that she's got that out of the way, now she's paying it forward and helping people who are in a similar situation as she was, because she'll tell you she was a sex worker, she was a prostitute, she was somebody who was a trans woman that was out here trying to take care of herself and get up there. So she was turning tricks to survive and to make money. And look what she parlayed that into. And that doesn't have to be the end of your story, that as long as you're alive, as long as breath goes into your body, you too can evolve. So yeah, I aspire to get to where T.S. Madison is in regards of like her career and being able to, go from being on the internet. I mean, I'll always probably stay with the internet, but to be afforded other opportunities. And I'm putting that out in the universe because I truly believe in my heart of hearts it will happen. I don't know when, but it's gonna happen. But then I get to a place where it's like, yeah, I'm a host and judge my own kind of reality competition series. And then I'll get to travel around the world with the Chris Avalon Unfiltered show. And I get to perform this in front of a live audience where we sitting there drinking and kikiing and having a good old time. And I'm being my messy, unapologetic self. And y'all all just having a, good old time with me while we up in here. And I'm up here being, the court jester, the personality. And y'all just laughing and having a good old time in the audience. Like, these are all the things that I see happening down the road, and me acting in things and possibly putting out music and 50 million other things and writing books. So I could be doing my own little book like Bob the Drag Queen. I don't know what kind of book it'll be, but it'll be a book or maybe a graphic novel. Who knows? The sky's the limit. And like I always say, I truly believe in my girl, Bevy Smith. It gets greater later. So shout out to you, TS. I'm glad you're out here doing the thing that you're doing. I'm glad that you're giving back to the community, especially the Black trans woman community, and helping them get their lives, back on track. So that way they can go out into civilization and do what needs to be done for themselves and hopefully get to where you are in life. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of to T.S. Madison Starter House finally opening its doors? Because I remember hearing stories that it was going to open up, and there was a little drama behind, in regards of like Dominique Morgan and all that other stuff that's going. You could Google that whole story. But yeah, there was a lot going on with that. But I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now that concludes the end of this show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Once again, if you have not, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And yeah, I'm going to be busy this weekend, so I probably won't be back until Monday. So I know I'm going to be hella busy uploading videos and clips and things of that nature. I'll probably have to spread that out for the next couple of days just so I can keep the algorithming. And so, yeah, I possibly will be back on Monday because I'm going to be busy this weekend between the Mets officially kicking off their season and Kylie Minogue performing 2 nights at the Garden. Somebody in my work in the locker room yesterday, I wanted to read him, but I was like, that's my friend. I'm gonna leave him alone. He referred to her as that lady from Australia. I did laugh at that. I was like, and one of this other boy that I was like, his locker was next to mine, but I was like, oh, I want to do some nasty stuff to him. But he was like, her name is Kylie. I was like, oh, let me find out you know about Kylie Minogue. So, all right. Let me find out you were part of the community. Well, let me shut up. So Yeah, me flirting with my coworkers. So, um, yeah, so I'm gonna be busy with Miss Kylie tomorrow. Finally gonna get this work, this show, see this show, what the deal is about it, because I don't really know what's going on. I mean, I've seen little clips online and this, that, and the other, but I haven't really like watched the show. So then once, we come back with a brand new episode, I'll definitely give you a full rundown of my overall experiences. I'll be able to take both shows in. And then, yeah, I'll give my full, breakdown of what I thought of the show. And because I know some of y'all are going to be seeing it within the next couple of weeks. So, yeah, I love you all for watching. Definitely hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, smash the notification bell. I'll definitely be putting in timestamps throughout the show of the topics so that way you can just follow along when just skip right over the stuff, the banter and all that mess. So yeah, love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for chiming in on the comments and things of that nature in the comment section. And until next time, ciao, darlings.